Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our second Virtual Employer Extravaganza. Please come and welcome our first guest, Helen, from Resources for Autism, and she'll be discussing the opportunities available with her. Helen, I'll make you presenter now.
Hello, hi, good morning everybody. Fantastic to see so many of you here today. So yeah, my name is Helen. I'm the Regional Volunteer Manager for Resources for Autism. I'm just going to give you just a few slides to share with you to sort of talk you through the organisation and our opportunity. So yeah, Yasmin, if you're able to share the slides, that would be fantastic.
Yasmin just uploading them. There you are.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. So yeah, so welcome to Resources for Autism. Some of you may have heard of us before. We have quite a lot of students who've done work placements with us or been with us as volunteers. So today I'm just going to kind of share with you a little bit about our organisation. Our key role that we're looking for today, talking to you, we're actually looking for volunteers, but we also do have paid opportunities as well, and I can kind of mention those as we go along the way, depending on your experience. So Resources for Autism, we're based in Birmingham and Birmingham, West Midlands, and we work across London as well. And we see ourselves as a very practical, dynamic organisation, and our specialism is about providing direct services and support to children, young people and adults with autism. We have a whole range of services, and our focus is very much working on a sort of person-centred approach. So we run groups and clubs throughout the week, in the evenings and at weekends. We work with as young as under 8s from 4 years upwards, and we've got a really healthy, growing adult service where we found there's a real need for support for adults with autism. We have play schemes, sibling groups, and one of our big programs is our Reach Out, which I'm going to be talking more about with you today. Reach Out is our community support program, and a part of our community support, we've also got a one-to-one program where we have Reach Out as volunteers, and one-to-one we actually have paid sessional workers who go out and support people in the community. Okay, so just a sort of little map to show of where we're currently looking for people to befriend. So all our befriending takes place within local communities. So in a sense, we have volunteers working all around the city of Birmingham and in Walsall and just on the edges of the surrounding regions. So how we operate is with our volunteers, we look at where you're living. So maybe many of your students are living in the centre of Birmingham, but we will look for people for you to support, which is not too far for you to travel to. So communities perhaps within a few miles of the city centre. So I just want to sort of stop for a minute and get us to think about autism. Some of you may be autistic, some of you may have had your own, have experience, have friends and relatives with autism. But just to sort of take us back a bit, and this is one of the slides we use actually at the start of our volunteer induction training. So take a look at this slide. Put yourself in that crowd. I know we're not used to crowds at the moment, so maybe when we go back to crowds, that might be kind of exciting for some, but maybe overwhelming for others. So have a think about yourself. Think about how you might feel if you were in that crowd. Now, if anybody's brave enough, you can always unmute yourself or put in the chat just any feelings to describe how you might feel if you were in that place. Okay, so just throw them in if you want to, but no worries. So some of the sort of feelings that many of people report would be about, maybe you may be feeling excited, but for many you might feel overwhelmed, maybe a bit of loss of control, anxious, stressed. It's chaotic, it could be noisy, you could be feeling squashed and disorientated. Again, like the signposts in many different languages. If you've ever been somewhere very new to you, maybe at a busy international train station, perhaps it's not your first language, and you're trying to make sense of it all. What we find is for people with autism, every day can pose those kind of challenges about the stress, the anxiety, the kind of making sense, the social understanding of the world around them. So one of the key roles of Resources for Autism, or anybody supporting with autism, is helping people with autism to kind of make sense of that and to develop their structures and their strategies for navigating through that. And sort of to add to that, I've got a quick kind of true or false quiz here. So I'm going to go through, I've got 8 questions. I'm going to go through these now. 2 of these questions these statements are false. Again, if you're brave enough, you can shout it out or write it in the chat, but I'll tell you at the end. So first of all, what is autism? It is a developmental disability that affects the way a person perceives the world. Affects the way a person is able to process information. There are many people with autism in the UK. 1 in every 86 people has autism. You cannot always tell that someone has autism just by looking at them. Children with autism cannot learn, and autism lasts for all of a person's life. Some people with autism may have acute sensory sensitivity, including sound, light, smell, touch, taste, and spatial. And autism is a mental health condition. Does anybody want to have a go at saying which ones of those is actually false? Okay, right. So I have number 5. Children with autism cannot learn. Children with autism can very much learn and learn, like, with right help and support and strategies, that they can learn, they can develop, and they can live the best life that they can. And the final one is not true either. Autism is a mental health condition, and often there's sometimes a bit of confusion that people see autism maybe as a mental health condition. It is not. It's separate, as there's a number 1. It's a neurodevelopment disability that affects the way a person perceives the world. However, what we do find is that many people with autism do come to us and they will have mental health, maybe some mental health problems as well as their autism. And often that mental health problem could be as a result of because of the stress and the anxiety and all the extra stresses put on them to kind of cope. So what do we do then? So what do we do, and what do our families want? So it's mainly families that come to us for service. Although, as I said, now we do have a growing number of adults, and again, it'd be their families that come to us, or we also actually get people now who self-refer. So our families are looking for support pretty much wrap around all the time. Weekends and evenings and holidays. They want support with strategies. They want people to talk to. They want to be heard. They want to be listened to. And sometimes they just need a little bit of time away to spend time with other family members. And they really want someone to kind of support their child. In fact, often people with autism, they don't really have many friends because they do find it difficult to make friends. So that's why our Reach Out Befriending service is so important, because it's a fantastic way in to help that person with autism gain that experience of developing friendships. So now we're looking at Reach Out, which is the service that we're recruiting for today. I'm hoping some of you might take the challenge up. So our Reach Out support, we reach out into communities. We place volunteers with families to support them in their homes. Obviously, ideally, those volunteers would then form a positive relationship with the young person, the adult, and their family. So it's all about communication, working with the family and the young person to kind of best help support them where you can. So through that will be, depending on the age of the child, so if they're a younger child, you'll be looking a lot of it will be about play and positive activities, but it's about what's relevant to the age of that young person. So some of it could be kind of really quite basic help with practical issues, and often it's about getting out in the community, when we can. So our community support with Reach Out, we try and be very holistic and person-centred. And many people say to me, so Helen, what will I be doing when I go out to befriend? And as I hope, it's very different with who you're supporting. So we've got a couple of examples here. We've got a young woman here who loves cooking. So she's been doing some cooking with a befriender. This person here, they're doing I think they're doing some games and activities. Older people, you may be looking about confidence in going out, using the bus, going to a cafe, accessing local facilities, and kind of supporting them and planning with them how to access those things. So there again, some examples. There's there again, one of our volunteers, Sid, when he was a volunteer at a soft play place, when we could go to those places. So it may take place at home, but it could be about going out, taking them swimming, helping them access other activities. And again, that's often quite key, is we don't ask our volunteers to give up their whole lives. We ask for 6 months as a minimum, but often maybe 6 months, maybe all that somebody can give. So it's about how can we kind of help that person to access things once the volunteering support has stopped. We're doing a lot more work now around help with independent skills, and we have people living independently who therefore maybe need help with structuring their day, timetables, looking at ways in which they can manage bills. And a key one is about help with transitions, and that may be from primary to secondary school, or from secondary to college, or into employment, or what might they do if they're not working, they're not at college, and how can we help with that? So for you as volunteers, obviously you're going to get a unique experience. We're a fantastic organisation to be part of. We are hopefully growing. We provide ongoing support training. It's a real chance for you to make a difference in somebody's life. We offer ongoing support and communication. And we pay all your sort of travel expenses and activities expenses. This is a lovely long list, but I'm sure you've seen some of this before. But what we've just done a bit of a research on a mapping of the kind of skills our volunteers have got, and things that we kind of use them for references or for work moving forward. So lots of employment related skills. A lot of it's about communication. A lot of this volunteering would be around being creative, problem solving, planning. You know, you're taking responsibility. It's a fantastic opportunity for you to be in control of something. Sort of networking, and although you'll be working in a one-to-one setting, you have the backing of a team and opportunities to kind of connect with us as a team. So I'm going to be around for a little bit now. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to have a chat, answer some questions, or take my contact details. Just drop me an email if you're interested in getting involved, finding out more, or if you go onto our website, there's a page there dedicated to volunteering, and if you really want to, you can also apply online. So thank you for listening.
Thank you, Helen. That was a very good presentation, very engaging. Like you mentioned, we are open to questions now, guys. So please ask any questions you may like to ask Helen. It could be in regards to anything, maybe the opportunities, that the organization has, or maybe you'd like to join, or how to join maybe. So what, if I can ask first question possibly, so what is the application process like? So what are students expected to do?
Okay, a couple of ways really. I mean, there are some people out there who think, yeah, I'm interested, but I just want a bit more information. So they could just drop me an email and just say, Helen, I'm interested, in the reach out befriending, and then I'll just apply to them separately. And what I would then do was arrange a time for an informal chat. So we can either set up a telephone call, or if people want, we can do a kind of Skype, Zoom meet or something. So we can actually kind of have a bit of a virtual meet. So we can have a chat on the phone, because there's always perhaps people have all got their own individual questions. However, if people feel today they've got enough information, they can go onto our website, and we've got a volunteer form online, so they could click, and it's quite a basic application form. And again, from that, I would again just get straight in touch. So it would be about initial chat. So it's not a formal interview. It's more about just checking that they kind of meet those requirements on that application form. We don't ask for any prior experience of working with autism. And we understand as students, many of you might not even have, not had experience perhaps working with people with additional needs or out in the community. But what we are looking for those qualities around being committed, being keen, enthusiastic, wanting to give things a go, prepared to try things out, sort of being resourceful. And we can give you all the training you need on autism awareness, strategies, and practical support to help with that. So, Beth, I hope that's answered that question.
Great, thank you, Helen. There's another question in the public chat actually from one of the students. In the future, when will you have paid opportunities? That's one. And another question that's come through from the same student is, what sort of training do volunteers do before they start?
Okay, I'll answer the second part first. So the first part is we're currently just in the middle of an induction training. So our induction training has now, like everything else, has gone online for now. It used to be based at our offices in Sturchley. So we've gone online. It's been exciting training because we do it with our London team as well. So people get to meet a lot of volunteers and new staff from across both cities. The training is in 4 parts. It's tends to be in the evening, so hopefully people can access it. So we do it in 4 parts over 2 weeks. We keep it quite close together. So we'll do a part around autism awareness. Then we have a section around about play and communication strategies. We do safeguarding training, and then our final training is much more about looking at you, your role, boundaries, kind of thinking about planning activities, ideas for sessions and things you might do in your befriending. So that's the training. So everybody does that training before they'll go out and meet the person or get connected with the person they would be befriending. We also provide ongoing training opportunities and support sessions which aren't mandatory but really helpful for your development and helpful in this role. And then going on to paid roles, probably in my last count, we've probably got about 20 of our current staff members who did start their journey with us as volunteers. So given if you've sort of seen the kind of services that we provide, a lot of our staff are kind of on part-time contracts, but you can build up those part-time hours in quite a few hours a week. So many of our volunteers have gone on to be one of our paid sessional one-to-one workers. So you'll be paid, so you'll be still working out in the community, but that's the people who've got that experience. So to get those jobs, so some of you may have that experience, you would need that experience of working with somebody with people with autism. And those jobs are constantly advertised on our website. And we also recruit people to work in our groups. And again, we've had volunteers who've been successful, and we'll put those volunteers forward from the volunteering programme to then apply to then hopefully be successful to work in our group settings as well.
Great stuff. Another question is, what if I live outside Birmingham? That's another question from a student.
Okay, good question. Depends where they live. How far out of Birmingham are you?
Okay, Stafford, probably Staffordshire then.
Yeah, it's probably a little bit too far. I mean, we do have quite an active programme in Walsall, which is your nearest. It depends where in Stafford you are and how easy it would be for you to get to Walsall. Because of our funding, we don't go any further north than Walsall. I mean, again, if you're coming into the university for lectures and so you're travelling into Birmingham, there's always that possibility of trying to line up a befriending time opportunity when you're kind of maybe at the end of a university day. So yeah, there's a couple of things to bear in mind, but yeah, we don't actually support families in Staffordshire.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. So we do have another student typing a question at the moment. So if you give me a second. Okay, so we've got, okay, thank you. Yeah, no, they're just thanking you for your answers. Any more questions, guys? Any more questions for Helen? Do you remember we will be sharing this recording later, and we'll also share the PowerPoint slides. Hope that's okay with you, Helen, for us to share.
That's fine. Yeah, that's no problem.
But do note down her details on the slide, and you're more than welcome to ask the question directly if you feel more comfortable. But yeah, if we can thank Helen, unless someone else is typing another question or someone's typing something. So let's see whether it's a question or whether it's a thank you. So okay. Any more questions, guys?
I just have to say that, you know, given the creativity of our volunteers, that during the pandemic, dare I say, that we have moved, we did move to virtual support, but we are actually we actually are actively still going out where, where it's safe to do so. We have all our COVID risk assessments, but we've currently got quite a few volunteers who are still going out, and because I think that they feel safe to do so, and the settings are safe, so they are still doing direct support currently as well. So that's just something to bear in mind. And also are thinking about your planning for the year, we're running our next induction training in January. So just something to think about. If you're thinking about it, if you can get in touch with me and over the next 6 weeks, you could be ready to join our next training round in January. So then you'd be good to go, probably kind of by the end of January, early February.
Okay. If I can also add actually to what Helen's saying, sometimes it's you have to start from somewhere in order to get somewhere. So if you are looking for gaining experience, whether it's enhancing your skills in different areas, from communication to interpersonal skills, any skills that you would like to gain, sometimes you have to start off as a volunteer somewhere in order to gain these skills, and which you can add onto your CV later as well. So that's something to bear in mind, and that's something personally myself, I started off as a volunteer when I was only 17, in a similar setting to yourselves, obviously not in Birmingham but elsewhere, and that's where I learned all my skills and picked up a lot of stuff. So I totally agree with Helen there. But yes, okay, so there's a few more questions. The next one is, how long will the training last, and when will you have a paid opportunity? That's from one.
Okay, so the train, it's interesting actually, because the training we put on, we have all our new volunteers attend and all our new staff. So that's great, because the volunteers will pick up quite a lot of learning from those staff. So the training we will deliver it. So we deliver it over 2 weeks. So like our current model will probably be the same in January. We do it on a Monday and a Thursday evening 1 week, and then a Monday and a Thursday evening the following week, and it's about 2.5 hours per session. So you're looking at about 10 hours of training over those 2 weeks. Again, they're evening and they are on Zoom, so hopefully they are. And occasionally, sometimes if I get a lot of interest and people just can't make it, I can always put on an additional session, a kind of mop-up session, if it was impossible for you to kind of make one of those sessions.
Okay, great. Okay, last question now, guys, so we can move on to the next speaker as well, which is for the paid opportunities. If you had prior experience, is that okay?
Yeah, so again, for the paid opportunities, definitely, as I say, the best thing to do for paid opportunities is to go onto our website, because we do have a continual recruitment program. Because our services are quite bespoke and we're trying to find people that are all over the city, we're always recruiting new staff. So it's definitely worth checking in. And going back to that question before, how long would it take to be eligible to apply for paid work? So it's not a given. It's about, that if you were getting your experience with us through volunteering and you loved it and it was an area you thought, yeah, I'd like to try and get a bit of paid work in this area. So we would expect you to complete an initial 6 months of befriending. And then start to have those conversations with myself and our other staff if you're going through that you're really interested, and then we can put you forward to apply for paid work. So you'd probably be the earliest would be applying for paid work at the end of that 6 months. So that's kind of how it works. Okay,
great stuff. If you could wrap it up there.
Okay, lovely.
I'll introduce the next speaker in the next 5 minutes. But thank you very much, Helen. Everyone can also brilliant presentation, very engaging, informative. We will send this afterwards to your email addresses. So thank you, Helen, once again. Guys, we have about a few minutes before we introduce the next employer. So grab yourself a cuppa if you need to, and we will join you. We will join in shortly. Thank you.
Welcome back, everyone. We now have Tajinder from HM Revenue and Customs. If you could all please, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat and they'll be answered at the end. Tajinder, I'll make you presenter now.
Thank you very much. Yep, this controls come across to me. So hello everybody, I am Jajinder, as I've just been introduced. So I'm going to be talking to yourselves regarding HMRC and their graduate program. Now, I don't know how much you know about HMRC. I'm pretty sure you all know that Her Majesty Revenue and Customs collect the tax. But I thought I'd just discuss a little bit about what HMRC actually really does. So we have just under 60,000 employees currently serving 45 million people in England, Wales, Northern Ireland, and Scotland. And it is our responsibility to ensure that we bring in the tax that is legally due in the UK. So for example, for the period 2018 to 2019, we brought in just under £628 billion. Now, this is the money that goes into all the things that you see around you, public services, helping families, individuals, all the things that you see working in the UK come from the taxes that are paid by individuals and collected by us. So the program itself is something that we do every year. It's to recruit our next generation of potential senior leaders. And as the slide says, never a dull day. And that is very much the case. The roles that you'll have if you finish this program could be anything from working technical policy to help colleagues in investigations, to advising major government bodies and Parliament regarding policies and how taxation should be written. You may be working on programs involving counter avoidance, working alongside FTSE 100 companies, and even working against organised crime and the loss of taxes through those organisations and criminal activity. So let's go on to the actual programme itself. The programme is an intensive programme. It lasts for around about 3 years and is designed to give you the technical knowledge and the professional skills you need when dealing with HMRC customers. It'll also give you an exposure to how HMRC works across the board. Now, multiple departments and units within HMRC that all have different roles, and the program allows you to work with these other departments in projects for short periods or even extended periods to give you an understanding of how broad and important HMRC's role is. It also gives you a much wider breadth of skills that you can then use when you do go into your final role with HMRC. Okay, so the training itself is modular for exams, and the study time is pretty much built into your working week. So you will be doing work alongside your learning in this program. You'll develop your practical skills, such as interviewing customers and challenging tax returns, and you also work with, like as I said before, with other teams within the organisation to demonstrate your leadership skills. What I really want to press here is that when you finish this program, you are going into a leadership role, and the expectations of you are pretty high. But the training is there to make sure that you can do your role effectively and bring out really much the best that you can be. So study and working. So training is delivered by our in-house tax academy. It has been that way for some time, many years. You normally have 1 day allocated for your learning, which you'll spend to read the material in advance of a tutorial, which is also delivered 1 day a week. Alongside that, you would still be doing your actual work. So you'll be introduced to caseworking, projects, and various tasks, like I said, to build up your professional skills. Each module will consist of various units and a set number of study hours. Most modules will last around 3 to 4 months. And alongside this, you will also be completing a quality assurance framework. Now, this consists of a number of milestones that you have to demonstrate you've met. So alongside actually being able to pass your exams, you also have to demonstrate that you're developing the professional and leadership skills needed to complete the role when you actually complete the program. So this, alongside the exams, will be checked regularly by your business learning manager, who's effectively your line manager during the program. Right. So benefits for working at HMRC. Now, when you join the program, the starting salary is just under £31,000 at the moment. When you complete the program and get promoted to grade 7, your pay will be around about £51,000. If you're working in London, then the pay range is slightly higher, starting salary of just over 35,000 and a promotion salary of just over 57,000. Alongside the pay, you'll also have flexible working, and HMRC is a big supporter of helping people work and manage their life around that work. So we do introduce alternative working pattern courses, which take longer than the 3 years, but would allow somebody, if, for example, they had caring responsibilities, to actually still do the course. So I know a number of people that, for example, only work term time, so they're available to support their children during various holidays throughout the year, and they are on the alternative working pattern course. We will obviously provide you with training support every step of the program. There's a lot of investment in the individuals that go onto this program, and HMRC wants every single person that joins this course to succeed. They want to see the grade 7s at the end of the program. HMRC is an organisation that supports diversity in the workplace, and it's something that I see every day. The pensions, as you probably be aware, is a public pension. So HMRC pension is pretty competitive. We also have things such as paid special leave, very generous maternity and paternity pay, as well as adoption leave. And we have other things such as the employee assisting program, which supports individuals to counselling, both for work and personal. And I know, for example, with everything that's happening in the world, people being away from the office, people having a lot of struggles at home due to COVID, that a lot of colleagues have gone on to use this, and they have found it to be particularly helpful. So, what does it involve? So the application's open. They have just closed for this year, but they will open in October 2021, and they'll close in November 2021. The first stage of the application is simply an online application form. As long as you're expected to get a 2-2 degree in any background prior to starting the actual program, that will be sufficient. And once you complete the online application form, you'll be asked to do some online tests. Currently, these online tests are the civil service judgment test, the civil service verbal reasoning test, the civil service math test, and the civil service work test. If you're successful in completing these online tests, you'll then be invited to do a video interview in this, normally around about December, after which you'll be asked to attend a 1-day assessment centre, which due to COVID was held online this year, but normally is held at, for example, I think in Birmingham, it's held by Warwick University, just outside of Coventry. Right. So, any questions?
Thank you to Ginger for that. Does anyone have any questions? You can put them in the public chat. I did have one. So you say you can join the program with any qualification, any background. What do they need a particular result to join the program?
So they need a minimum for 2-2.
2-2. Okay, that's great.
I'll just to add on to that, all the training is given in-house. So if you're not doing a mathematically based accounting or economic degree, it won't impact your ability to complete the program. When we do the training is given at the very basic level. So you don't have to worry about that.
I understand. We do have a couple of questions in the chat. I can read them out to you and then you can answer them.
Okay.
So the first question, is it an advantage to work for HMRC?
I would say it is. I joined HMRC in 2016 and I have very much enjoyed working here. It has been sometimes particularly difficult, but at the same time really rewarding as well. If you're working on cases that involve you dealing with, for example, organised crime or companies that are going really out their way to avoid paying tax when you go and do your work, and the result is that you are bringing in a significant amount of tax for the country, it does give you a sense of satisfaction, because you know this money is going back into the community, you know it's going to help schools and hospitals, and you're making sure that everyone is really paying their fair share. So that sense of achievement really exists when you're working at HMRC.
Okay, great. Next question. Are there any particular skills you look for when recruiting?
So the program itself is designed to, the application process for the program is designed to identify the skills that we want. The civil service has various skills that we look for, leadership, teamwork, pretty much anything you would really expect for a corporate position. And it is assessed, so even if you don't feel like you've got that skill set at the moment, the way that the civil service situational judgment test works is that it assesses how you think. So even if you don't feel you're particularly strong in those skill sets of leadership, teamwork, thinking outside the box, the situational judgment test will ask you questions and it will gauge whether you actually do have that way of thinking. And if you do, you'll be asked to carry on through the application process. And even if you're successful and actually start the program, we're not expecting you to have those skill sets at the completed article when you start the program. It'll be something that we will train you to be. We'll bring out the very best in you and make sure you're able to do your job as a senior leader within HMRC.
Okay, great. Next, we have a couple more questions. If a student is interested in completing their masters, would you accommodate time for this?
I've not known HMRC to actually do that, not during this program. I think if you were to complete the program, then potentially HMRC will consider whether they will support you through your master's program. And the reason why we probably don't support individuals on another program while doing the HMRC one is that it's very intensive. If you imagine you're working pretty much a normal 37.5-hour week, on top of that, you're having to put in the additional time to learn material, ready for tutorials. You are engaging the public pretty early on into your career, and it is a pretty demanding course. So if you add on to that the desire to do a master's, it is very unlikely you will have the capacity to do both.
Okay. Next question. What if I'm not a UK citizen and want to apply for this job?
Okay, so there are limitations in relation to who can apply. Bear with me, I'll bring that information up. So you can apply if you are a British citizen from the European Economic Area, a Commonwealth citizen, a Swiss national, and even circumstances a Turkish national as well. So all this information is available on the tax professional website, even though at the moment application for the program has closed. When the application for the next program does open, all this information will be available. You can actually find it yourself. All you need to do is Google HMRC graduate program and you'll be taken to the .gov website. There are emails and contact details for individuals when the actual application program opens. So you can send your queries to them. Normally HR members of staff can help it. We also have a Facebook account which you can also join and ask those questions. So if you're concerned whether you'll be able to join, feel free to send those individuals an email and they'll get back to you.
Okay, great. I can also find it and put it in the chat after the questions. We've quite a few more. If you're in your first year of university, could you apply now for when you finish, or would you need to apply when you're close to graduating? I think this was answered beforehand because they open in October 2021 anyway. Yeah. So you have to wait till then to apply.
Yeah. So it's a case of you wouldn't start the program till the following September. So if you were to apply next year, you wouldn't start the program until September 22. Well, crikey, where does the time go? And as long as you finish you've got your degree by that date, you can join. So if you're in your second year, for example, you may be able to apply, and as long as you can get your degree by September 2022.
Makes sense. I think we've also answered this one as well. What are the chances for international student MSc program? Yeah, I believe we've just answered that.
Yeah, so again, I think I mentioned that we wouldn't really support a master's alongside this simply because it will be far too difficult for the actual individual to complete both.
The next question, would master's students therefore be considered for this program in the future? Well, if you have the qualification, I assume that's fine.
As long as you've got a 2-2 classification degree, yeah, you'll be able to apply.
Okay, we actually have a student that has already applied for the program on the 10th of November via Civil Jobs website. My question is, do I have to apply through a different program or website, or is that okay?
No, there's no limitation on how many times you can apply. So hopefully that student will be successful and get round to the next round, and wish them all the luck for it. If, however, they are unsuccessful, all they need to do is wait for the next round of applications each year, and they'll be able to apply. There is no limitation. People can apply as many times as they want. And I have known people that have applied 3 or 4 times and then successfully got onto the program.
Okay. Can students get in direct contact with yourself if they have any questions? Could we put your email in the chat box for students to note down?
Yes, feel free to do so. And I'm pretty sure I will forward on to your details for next year, should you be doing another graduate program, and I'll probably be somebody else that will be taking on my role. But for now, if any student does have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Okay, the last question, which I believe you've already said as well, what certificate would be gained at the end of the program? So
there is no external qualification for it. Is basically internal HMRC training. So you'll be trained to complete your role as a HMRC grade 7. There is no external equivalent, but I would say to that I know a number of colleagues that have gone to, for example, the Big 4 without any further qualification, simply because of the strength of training that HMRC does provide.
Okay, right. And last question, is GCSE Maths and English required or equivalent?
I believe it is. I can't tell you the exact details right now, but I think it is the minimum level in terms of a pass. So I feel like if you are, you would need to have both GCSE English and Maths.
Is there any more questions from anyone? As we have a little bit of time left, we just have a couple people typing. Tajinder's email is in the public chat now if anyone wants to send any questions. Sorry, Sergio, would you be able to rewrite your question? I'm not understanding what you mean.
I think it means that he hasn't got GCSEs. Would a degree be enough? And again, what I would turn around and say is that if you're not entirely sure, when the application process does open, there will be email addresses available for individuals that work with HR that will be better equipped to deal with these particular queries. So drop them an email. You can even post it on Facebook when the application process is open, because there is a monitored Facebook page for the program each year, and they will be able to help you. Now, in terms of the actual site itself, it does say that you must have a 2-2 degree or equivalent. There isn't much mentioning of other qualifications. So although I have said that you maybe most likely would need to have GCSE English or Maths or equivalent, that may not be the case. So please ask your questions to the appropriate person when the application process opens up next year. Don't feel like you can't because you don't have those.
Okay, great. I've just put into the chat box as well the link you can actually click on to find out eligibility and a bit more about the program as well for anyone that is interested. Thank you for your time, Jinder. This presentation has been recorded, so it will be passed on to students as well as your presentation and your email.
Okay, I'm happy to talk to anybody, and I'm glad I was able to help you all today.
Thank you, and we'll speak to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
We have a couple minutes until our next presentation from Soho House. So if you just give us about 5-10 minutes before the next presentation will start. Thank you.
Hi everyone, welcome back. We have now just been joined by Jack from Soho House. Welcome, Jack. Thank you for joining in. Can you hear me? Are you able to unmute your mic?
Yep, all good. Hello everyone.
Good stuff. Thank you, Jack, for joining us. Students have been eagerly waiting for your presentation today. So Yasmin will make you presenter. Yasmin, if you make Jack presenter, please. Just to let you know, if you could just go through your PowerPoint, and then we can always upload the external link for your video if it doesn't work within your presentation. Okay?
Yeah, no problem.
Great stuff. Pass it on to you, Jack.
Perfect. So is this full screen for everyone? Do I have to make it full screen too, or?
Nope, it's absolutely fine.
Okay, perfect. So as I said, my name is Jack Davis. I am the recruitment manager at Soho House. And yeah, welcome to the presentation on our MIT program, which is our grad scheme. So what we're going to go through today is talk to you a little bit about who we are and what Soho House are about. I'll go into detail about our management trainee program, which is our grad scheme, and then talk at the final end about how to apply. So for anyone that doesn't know Soho House, it was founded in 1995 as a private members club, and it's aimed at people in creative industries. So you think designers, actors, music people, those sort of people. And it's founded by Nick Jones. There's a nice picture of Nick there. Since we've opened in 1995, we have opened clubs across the world, Europe, Asia, North America, and then we've got other places like cinemas, workspaces, spas, and bedrooms as well. We have lots of places all over the world, as I said, with lots of future openings in the next year or next 5 years, which is very exciting. So hopefully the aim at the end of it is to have a members club in every city in the world, which would be amazing. Little bits on our current statements at the moment. So our mission statement at the top. Soho House is a space for its diverse membership and teams to connect, grow, have fun, and make an impact. And that is really what we live at Soho House. We connect with lots of people. We like to watch people grow and grow ourselves. We have fun, and we try and make an impact on everything that we do. Our diversity statements there as well, where we reflect the communities we serve around the world, and talk about how we respect our members and how our teams identify themselves and believe in creating a safe space for all. And our ethos is there. We've got 5 bits on our ethos: curiosity, inclusivity, connection, passion, and respect. And realistically, every person that works for Soho House lives and breathes that ethos in everything they do. And that's generally a good reflection on everyone that works here. So I'm going to go into a bit more detail now about our houses and our restaurants. So our houses are our members clubs all around. These are most of the ones I'll show you today are in the UK, because that's where we're talking about mainly. So our houses are our members clubs. So you have to be a member to get in there. Everyone pays their membership. So I'll talk you through them. So Babington House here is in Bath in Somerset. Really nice little snoozy members club there with all the good stuff: cinema, pool, and lots of spaces to eat and drink. The food at Babington House, if you've never been, is really nice. Soho Farmhouse, which you might have seen in Daily Mail or in the papers or that sort of thing, is a big resort in Oxfordshire, in the middle of absolutely nowhere, in Great Chew. And really, really beautiful place. Log cabins, some piglet bedrooms there as well. 4 different restaurants, and lots of things to do and see. High Road House is in Chiswick in West London, and then we've got 76 Dean Street, Soho, 40 Greek Street in Soho, and Little House in Mayfair. Little House is our smallest members club in Mayfair. Just 2 little rooms, and it can fit about 80 to 100 people. Really nice Mayfair site there. And then a couple more here. So there's Kettner's Electric House, which is in Notting Hill on Portobello Road. White City again, with a nice pool on the roof in the old BC building in White City, and then Shoreditch House, Staple in East London. Really cool venue there. And I've put some European ones here just so you can see a little bit about what we do in Europe. There's the Soho House in Barcelona, which is my favourite house worldwide. I think it's a beautiful site. Amsterdam, and then one of our newest ones, which is Soho Rock House, which is in Mykonos. That's a cool one there. As I said earlier, as well as members clubs, which you have to be a member to go into. We also have lots of restaurants dotted around the world, and especially in the UK. So there's Ciccone's, which is a great brand of ours. It's really high-end Italian food. And we've got one in Mayfair, one in East London. There's a couple more. There's one in Berlin, there's one in Barcelona, and there's one in Istanbul too. The Hoxton Grill is in Shoreditch as well, and then Electric Diner, which is below the Electric Club in West London. A couple more there. So we've got Pizza East, which I don't know whether anyone's familiar with. A couple of Pizza East, one in Portobello and one in East London, which is casual Italian food. High Road Brasserie, which is below the Members Club there. Cafe Bohème, French Parisian style cafe restaurant in Soho, and then Kettner's is also there. As I said to you earlier, we have some different spaces like spas and bedrooms as well. And we've got Soho Works, which is our workspaces. So we've got one in Shoreditch and one in White City. We also opened two very recently in one in Soho and another one on the Strand in central London too. And these are like workspaces, so they're aimed at people that don't have an office and they want to go somewhere. I'm actually in one now, and you can go somewhere and just work for the day, and they look much better than offices. They have nice cozy sofas, drink facilities, etc., etc. So let's talk about how we do things a little bit differently. So Soho House are a little bit different from most companies, in my opinion, in terms of what we offer our staff. Part of that is our learning and development and what we can offer to people. So as part of working for Soho House, you get access to our big learning and development, which is our Soho Academy plan. This is an example from March in 2020. And as you can see, it's, let me zoom in a little bit. It's broken up into some different stages. Part of it is learning and development, which is how to better yourself and develop yourselves into whichever career you're in. So there's different bits on the job coaching, how you can be better in service, telephone stand-ins for anyone that works on the phone and reception, etc., etc. We also have Cookhouse and House Tonic, which is our in-house food and drink training programs. So you've got your basic training, which will train you on different bits that you'll need to work at Soho House in terms of our classics, our coffees, etc., etc. Back to basics, WSET wine training, for example, to be better at knowing wines. And then there's the really fun stuff. So this is where we might get a famous chef to come in and give us a demo on food or drink, or we'll speak to some people at Bacardi or people at or we'll take some people to Champagne in the south of France and learn about different types of champagne there and the vineyards and that sort of thing. We go to Forest Road. Here is a brewery in London, so you go to a brewery where we get our beer from, learn how beer's made. And then we went to a restaurant, lunch club in Kiln, different bits here. So there's a really, really fun exercise. And I don't know many other companies that do this. We did a competition last year, a bartender competition. So all the houses in each of the regions took place, and the winners they had a 5-night trip to Miami. That was part of the Cookhouse and House Tonic training there. And I personally have been on a trip to San Sebastian in the south of Spain with some head chefs to learn about sort of food. And we've travelled to different places of the world looking at this. I've been to farms, I've been to lots of different places with the head chefs, and my colleague has been to lots of the places with the bartenders as well. So really, really good thing. And there's obviously safety. There's some D&I stuff as well, which we're loving at the moment, and then some IT stuff there. I don't know if this video is going to work, but I can definitely try it out and see if it does. Looking like I'm having no fun. I can send these videos at the end so you can have a little look at them. For now, I'll just move on. This video was just it shows you a little bit about Cookhouse and House Tonic and what we've been up to, but I'll send the links at the end so you can go and have a look for yourself. As part of the MIT grad scheme program, you'll be given first dibs to work on lots of events that we have. Pop-ups and events. So some of the things that we've done before, we do the Brits after party every year, which is great. Loads of people go there. So you know the Brits, the Creative Industry Awards. We do the Brits after party every year, which is great. We've got Art Basel, which is an amazing thing that's not in the UK, but that's in Europe. And then every year, Soho House has our own mini festival. So think of like Glastonbury, but on a much smaller scale. About 5,000 people cram into a park in North London. and we have our house festival. And that entire festival is staffed by Soho House staff. And as on the grad scheme, you'll get a chance to go and work for that day and be part of it. And we get some really good people play there. Who have I seen? Sheik and Niall Rogers was there one year. Lots of up and coming people. Georgia Smith was there last year. Lots of just cool people. Let's talk about the actual MIT program. So this can be aimed at either people in a gap year or people that are graduating. So in two ways. If you're graduating from the program, you're graduating from university, you would then be put onto the grad scheme, which is that MIT program, which at the end of it, you would then hopefully be offered a management position in the operation. And then if you did it as a gap year, you would come on and do the program, and then you'd go back and finish your 1 year of studies, and then hopefully you would then come to us and have a management position after that. So it runs for 12 months. You get exposure to all aspects of the business. So for this program, we're really looking for people that really live and breathe hospitality, that are going to come in and work across all aspects of the business in the hope of becoming a manager at the end of it and working their way up to potentially becoming a GM of one of our sites, ops manager, or further on from that. As I said there, you get a really good mentorship program. You get the opportunity to work at pop-ups and events. You get a full list of the benefits, which includes Soho House membership, which is very exciting, which means you can visit places all over the world. And as I said before, once you've in all aspects of the business, you'll get your final few months in shadow management, which will then hopefully set you up to be a manager once you've completed it. So in that year, when you're working for us, you will work in different sites around London and potentially some in the country as well. And you also work in different departments. And this is to give you a big overview of everything that goes into being a manager at Soho House and what things you'll need to consider. So you'll do a stint as a waiter on the floor. You'll do a stint behind the bar. You'll do a stint in the kitchen to get you updated with everything in the operations. When in reception, you'll do a bit of night banking and purchasing. So you get to do the money side of it. A bit in the membership, so you understand how Soho House works in terms of membership, and then people in development, which is HR, so you'll learn a bit about what we do in HR and a bit in finance as well. So this gives you great exposure to everything in the business. So when you do get a management position, number one, you know who to go to for all of your questions and needs. Number two, it gives you a good grounding to develop further and to move into that management position. So we've had some really good success stories in the past with our grad schemes and MITs. Our current general manager of Harrod House came through this system, graduated uni, came onto our MIT system, MIT program, and is now a general manager at one of our sites, running a team of around 110 people. Really great for him. Another one is currently our hotel manager at White City. So that is really great development from them. And then another one works in our HR department, and he is one of our HR managers for one of our regions. So the options kind of to come through this process to learn and develop yourself into a leader at Soho House is quite endless. This is what Dominique Severin said, who's currently on the programme. You can read a little bit about what she says there. Basically, all great things, saying that it's good to connect with lots of people. It's a big company. And it's good to get exposure across the business in such a short amount of time. Again, here, Eva's put some good stuff about how the rotation's good. It gives you to work in many different roles, many different sites. And it's a fast-paced business, Soho House is, so it gives you a good insight into hospitality, how it works as a whole. So what we expect from you as a candidate, as I said, this is a grad scheme aimed specifically at hospitality people. So what we're looking for is our next leaders of the business. So we want people to come in that want to be a GM of a site. We want people to come in that have aspirations to be ahead of something that they can potentially move into. That might be HR, as my colleague Ollie has moved into, or it might be the general manager of one of the sites, which another guy has moved into. So it depends on what sort of thing you want to move into, but we're really looking for really good hospitality professionals. As I said, positive can-do attitude, ability to constantly adapt, and willingness to take on a hands-on approach. We need to have realistic career goals. At the end of this program, you're not going to be a GM. I know I've said that someone did that. They did the program about 4 or 5 years ago. At the end of this program, you're not going to be a general manager of one of the sites immediately. We'll give you all the tools you need to be a manager in one of the sites and to develop. And then it's up to you to learn, grow, and to focus your career and to hopefully move up the ladder. So how to apply. So my email address is on there. Please all take a picture of it. If you'd like to apply for this program, in terms of any sort of gap year that you have or a grad scheme program, then please send me an email with your CV and cover letter on. I'm not sure how we're going to do the interview process yet. At the moment, it's probably going to all be via Zoom or learning or online program. But potentially, if we're allowed to do it, then we'll do like a little assessment day in London next year. At the early starts of next year, so it's probably going to be via Zoom, but we can all hope. We can also do. We also want to talk about internships. So there is a potential to do 3 or 6 month internships in the business. This is not the main area of focus, but it's definitely something that we can talk about. We have departments in the support office, head office, in digital, in finance, marketing, communications, HR. Sort of endless opportunities there. We're not going to go big on the internships. We're not going to offer like 5 or 6 out. It's probably going to be a very small amount, 1 or 2, so we can do it properly. But there is potential there for internships. But as I said, the main focus of this is to try and build a really great talent pool and speak to some great people about the MIT program and how we can move forward from there. And I think that is it. Yeah, so now I'm happy to open it up to any people that have any questions about the program or any questions to me about Soho House.
Thank you, Jack. That was very, very good. Love the presentation and absolutely love the houses that you guys have. Maybe in the future, hopefully, can visit one of them abroad once the whole COVID situation is all, done and dusted.
Yeah, I hope so.
Back to normality. I believe questions have now started in the public chat, but before we go on to the questions, I have one of your videos ready, so I can upload it for you if you wish. This is Soho House.
Yeah, if you want to upload that gives you a little bit of an insight into what life is like, what we're about. Can show you some of the sites on there and what sort of people we have working for us. I think it's potentially a good little video to put on. So if you want to upload that, you can.
Sure. Here you go, guys.
Here you go.
Okay, that was the video, Jack.
Perfect. Give you a bit of an insight into what it's like to work for me, all the people that work here and that sort of thing.
Good stuff. Thank you. Thank you very much, Jack. I think due to time constraints, I'm going to move on straight on to the questions.
Yeah.
Let's go back up. Okay. So starting off with Catherine, do you guys also offer 6 months placement for individuals for different departments? As for my program, there is a placement program basically, which is only 6 months. Is that something that you guys would offer?
Yeah, potentially we could do that. If it was going to be a 6 month program, it would depend on whether you could move to London and you could be here for 6 months, or potentially we could look at housing you in one of our country sites like Soho Farmhouse or Babington House, where there is accommodation there. And there is the potential we could put like a mini program together for 6 months. I doubt that you'd be able to change that much. Like you wouldn't be able to do like 1 month in each one, because that would just get a bit confusing. But potentially we could put maybe 2 or 3 bits together for your 6 month period while you were here. It's definitely something we can look into. Yes, it wouldn't be a full grad scheme program, but it would be. We could definitely house someone for 6 months and give them the tools they needed to learn while they were here.
Okay, great stuff. Hopefully that answered the question, Catherine. The next question is from Liz. Actually, she's one of our lecturers. If I'm correct, from BTEC Hospitality. Her question is: Hi Jack, do you take employees who are 18 plus or just after university?
So if you were not going to university and you just wanted to go straight into work, we have lots of opportunities for line level positions, i.e. you can get straight in to be a waiter or a runner or a barback or a bartender or any sort of chef positions. If you wanted to come straight in, we've got lots of different bits there. You go on our careers website, which I can put into this chat, which is careers.sohohouse.com, and have a little look on there. Obviously, there's not many at the moment because all of our places are closed, but coming up into the new year and over Christmas, there might be a couple more on there. And yeah, so any sort of people that want to go straight in, we have opportunities all over the UK for that.
Okay, good stuff. Jack's just posted the link in the public chat, guys, if you guys want to have a look through. We have, who's next? Will there be an opportunity to get transferred and to work overseas?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, during this 1 year grad scheme, the aim is to keep everyone. I mean, what we've done is you do stay in the UK, but then once you've got a management position, the opportunities are quite endless. There's a girl that used to work here. There's lots of different bits, but an example of it would be there was a floor manager that worked at Soho House Quick Street in Soho, but now she had the right to work in America, so now she works in LA. And we transferred her out there. There's people that have been transferred to Barcelona and Berlin that used to work in the UK. So the opportunities for worldwide work. If you've got the right to work in that place, then there's no reason why we can't do it. And then once you get to a very senior position, there's potentially options that we can look into sponsoring people if we want to send people to US or Asia or wherever. Okay,
thank you. What or how long experience we need to have for applying? So how much experience do the students need to have before they start applying for your graduate schemes, the schemes that you have?
Yeah, no problem. I think we'd like to see a little bit of hospitality experience or a bit of customer facing experience. Maybe not in hospitality, if you've worked in retail, any sort of customer facing experience is always a plus. I think, as you said, it's a year long and it's a hard program. You're going to get logged into some busy sites that are going to be they're really high volume, they're really high pressure, and so some sort of customer facing experience where you know how to deal with customers would be advantageous, 100%.
Okay, and is it like a time length for this experience? So do they need 3 months of experience, or 6 months, or?
I think anything over 6 months of experience would be good. I mean, I'm not gonna say don't apply if you've only got 3 months experience. Because we can have a chat, and those 3 months might have been the best 3 months you've ever worked. So I don't want to say don't apply if you've only got 3 months, but I reckon around about 6 months, either part-time or full-time would be good.
Okay, good stuff. A few more questions. At what stage during studies can you apply? So let's say, for example, if they're year 1 or year 2 students, can they apply then? Or is there a particular, like level that you would require?
Yeah, no, just to clarify, this is for a September start, is that right?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, we do have some students that do tend to start their placement during second semester for 6 months. So it really depends on your business needs, I think.
Well, yeah. So if it was a September start, then I would guess you would need to apply between now and the end of Jan, I'd say, the end of February, I guess, to get it locked in. I mean, apply between now and the end of January, and then hopefully we can sort it out all in February to get you all sorted. And then if it was going to be any earlier, I guess just put when you would be available on your application, and then try and send it over ASAP. I think would probably be the best thing to do.
Okay. Would you consider someone who already has a small event business as experience?
Yeah, definitely. If that small event business has a bit of customer facing experience, then I don't see any reason why not.
Okay, great stuff. Maureen, I hope that answered your questions that you asked. Any more questions, guys? We've got the last minute. Please do ask Jack. And of course, thank you, Jack, for your time, for the presentation. It was great.
No problem. Just on a last note, I think if you are really interested in developing in the hospitality sector and going into more of a management position, I've worked now for the company for 5 years. I can definitely vouch for the company and say it's a great place to work and really gives students and anyone that works here the tools they need to develop themselves and to further their career. I think we're very different to a lot of other companies, as you've probably seen by the presentation and what sort of life's like here. We're not corporate, we're not that sort of thing, but yeah, I think it's a great opportunity for students to come in and develop.
Okay, good stuff. Thank you, Jack. Can we all also thank Jack for his time? I think that was a brilliant presentation and very informative. But if I can just repeat that we will be sharing the presentation after this whole event today. Hopefully that's okay with you, Jack, actually.
Absolutely, no problem.
Share this across to students, and the recording will also be available. Thank you, Jack. Thank you very much. We're now moving on to a longer break. I would say around 30 minutes. Our next talk will start at 1 o'clock. We will be joined this afternoon by RAF, so the Royal Air Force, at 1 o'clock. Then we have Sense, a charity organisation, at 1:30. We got Incarta from 2, and we got Monarch Education as well from 2:30. And then we have a marketing team and Enterprise Hive as well at 3:15. So do join us, guys, back in the afternoon. More than welcome to stay in the conference, but just put yourself on mute, so no cameras, please. And we will join you just before 1 o'clock. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Hello and welcome back to all of the students that have just joined us again. Hopefully we should have some more joining us later throughout the session. So welcome back and welcome to the afternoon speakers that we have lined up. So if no further ado, can I please introduce and say welcome and a big thank you to Andrew, who has joined us today from the Royal Air Force, who will go through his presentation and talk through the careers opportunities that we have available. Andrew, thank you and hello. I will pass it over to you. You're now presenter and you can start going through your slides.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully you'll find this interesting. The way I'll be running it is it'll be quick 15 minutes of me talking. I'll go through various roles, a little bit about me and a little bit about the Royal Air Force. What I will say, if you do have any questions, please hold off till the after I've finished the presentation and then fire as many questions as you'd like on me. So today I'm going to talk about RAF careers. The Royal Air Force, obviously, it goes by the picture. We are the flying element of the UK military. Our main priority is to protect UK airspace. This doesn't mean we just stay in the UK. We do operate in other countries overseas. We help out our NATO and United Nations partners. If you can't hear me, I do apologise. I will try to talk up and a bit slower, just hopefully the internet's not playing up too much. Yeah, so we do help out, do a lot of humanitarian and training missions overseas, but I'll go through a bit of these in detail later on. So, next slide. Cool. So, this is me. I am Sergeant Andy Chambers. I've been in the Royal Air Force Police for 15 years now. At the moment, I'm currently I'm currently in recruitment, so I go around to schools, universities, cadet forces, just to explain what the RAF is, what roles we offer, and the benefits and negatives to roles in the Air Force. Some of the benefits will be negatives to some people, some of the negatives will be benefits to others, but I'll cover a few of them and go through how they affect me and how they've helped me and hindered me in my life and my career. So the top left picture there, that was me on the back of a A400 in Mozambique. Went there March last year. This was a humanitarian aid mission. They got hit by a cyclone Day, if any of you are aware of it. So it took us roughly about 48 hours to get down there. It was a long trip, but with a lot of humanitarian missions, they're not quick to get there because we have to make sure, A, the runway's safe for us to land, and B, that there's organisations on the ground that are able to take the aid that we're taking. So once we did get there, because they didn't have the full use of all the equipment because a lot of it was damaged, we had to hand unload all of the freight. So it took about 4 hours. There was 16 people in total that went, but by the end of it, yes, we were all tired, we were all hanging out, but to see the relief and the gratitude of the people's faces that we were handing all the shelters, water, food, it was quite a heartwarming moment, and it actually made all that hard work worthwhile. The second picture there is me standing with a certificate. I was on the Queen's Birthday Honours list a few years ago. I assisted UK Home Forces. This included UK police forces and also intelligence agencies. And we come up with a picture of what the counterterrorism threat levels were and how they should be best implemented. So we looked at what method of terrorism we were likely to face and what was the best techniques to prevent these being effective. You'll probably see around the world nowadays a lot of terrorist attacks that are being used in the Western world are either bladed weapon or vehicle. We identified this as roughly about 7 years ago, so it was before it was a wide known thing, and the reason we were able to identify it was because there were items that you could get hold of without raising suspicion. You didn't have to go through the efforts of trying to make a bomb, which is quite dangerous, and it was quite hard to actually stop those attacks until after they started. So we identified that is how terrorism was gonna happen. So then we looked at how best to protect public spaces, and this is why you'll see in a lot of places that you'll have the big concrete balls outside of buildings, the big flower beds. These are all methods that have been designed to prevent people hiring a van, car, and driving through public areas to reduce the impact of any potential terrorist threats. So I got recognised for the work we did. There was a lot of work that went in, and hopefully I'd like to think some of the work that I put in has gone on to help reduce the effectiveness of terrorist attacks since, and also hope to increase how we protect ourselves as a nation. The bottom two pictures are me whilst I've been representing the RAF playing rugby. The bottom left, that's me at Cardiff Park. That was before a game. I was injured for that game, so I was there in the coaching capacity. And the bottom right, that is me actually playing. It's not the greatest photo of me, but it's the only action-packed one of me where you can actually see my face, so that's why I chose it. So I've managed to get involved in a lot of sport through my career, and it sort of helps motivate me to want to stay within the RAF because they encourage you to develop yourself, whether it's within your role, educationally, in a sporting capacity, or however you want to develop as a person. What I'll do now is I'll go on to the next slide. So on this slide now is all the roles that we have in the Air Force. There's all sorts of roles on there. For these, there's a range of different entry requirements. So there's certain roles on here where you do not need any GCSEs or anything. So for the role of chef, mover, driver, regiment gunner, you do not need any GCSEs. Those roles on here that you need just GCSEs for, so where are the engineering roles? So are aircraft technician avionics, aircraft technician mechanical, electrical engineer. With these roles, if you've got English, maths and science at grade C and above or grade 4 and above, you are educationally eligible for them roles. So now, if you obviously with you guys, you may be at university, you may be first, second, third year, you may already sort of know what industry you wanted to go into. For those doing an engineering course, once you've finished at university, finished your engineering degree, you could potentially enter the RAF as an engineering officer, whether it's comms or aerospace. These generally start with a starting salary of £28,000 a year, so it's quite a good wage, and obviously you get a load of benefits thrown in, so like all the sport and opportunities, adventurous training, you get a free pension that we don't pay into, so there's loads of benefits that way. We even have roles like dental officer and doctor, so if you're currently at university training to be either of them roles, you can actually apply for a bursary to help towards your university costs. They start for your second, third and fourth year. To find out more information on these, just go RAF Careers Bursaries or RAF Careers Medical Bursaries, and all the information is on there and how to apply for them. The other thing you can look at is university air squadrons. Have a look for the nearest one to yourselves and get in contact with them, and they'll be able to talk you through to the bursary scheme as well. Okay, so we'll stick with medical for now. Obviously, you're already at university, so if any of you are training to be a nurse, mental health nurse, adult nurse, anything like that, once you finish your degree, you could join the Air Force. And because you're already qualified, we will start you off at a slightly higher wage. And also, you'll get 38 days leave a year compared to the NHS's. You'll also, generally, most of our nurses work in the NHS environment, but they are still RAF nurses. And you still get access to all of our adventurous training, all our sport and opportunities, and all that good stuff as well. And as you can see, there is a wide variety of roles on there. What I would recommend is if any of you are sort of leaning towards, military does sound something that could be a potential, jump on our website. There's a tool on there where you can enter your interests and it will fire out a load of roles that fit the information that you provide. If you don't want to use this, you can just go straight through and look at our various roles as well. So if you know you're wanting to be in the engineering field, as that's the first list, you can go straight to the engineering area, look at the different engineering roles and see which one that you think will suit you best. Cool. And obviously there is our website, our Facebook, our YouTube, Twitter and LinkedIn if you want to get more information. I would say if you do want more information, just give us a shout, whether you contact us at a career office, go through our website or anything like that. We're more than happy to sit down, chat to you. There is a lot of roles, a lot of various roles and a lot of varied roles. So at the start, I said that I'll talk about a few of the positives, a few of the negatives through the career. I've already mentioned a few of the positives, for example, the sporting opportunities, the world travel. Obviously, I went to Mozambique. Not only have I been to Mozambique, but I've been to a third of the African nations. I've been to quite a few countries in Asia. I've been to quite a lot of the Middle East. I've travelled most of Europe, and I've been to all of North America. And in South America, I've been to both Uruguay and Brazil with work. These have all been work trips. They've all been for various reasons. Some training, some humanitarian, and some just resupply missions because we do exercises with foreign countries all the time to ensure that we're all working at the same level. So if we were ever to have to go to war or do operations together, we all know the standard we're working at, and we know what results we're trying to gain. For some people, the travel isn't a bonus. For me, I quite like it. I've managed to get to a lot of countries that I probably wouldn't have gone to otherwise. I've seen a lot of new cultures. I've been able to engross myself into their way of life, to eat their food, see how they live, and all the good stuff. So I've been able to travel and get a view on people's lifestyles in various different cultures, which for me has been quite an eye-opener. It's helped me to grow as a person, to further understand different cultures, different religions, and all that good stuff. Just so for me, as a better person, when I'm in the UK, I'm more aware of all these different cultures, the different religions, and the meaning behind their festivities, their cultural events, and all that sort of stuff, which I've really enjoyed, and I feel I've got a lot out of. And I feel that if people ask me questions, that I'd be able to engage in conversations about them, rather than be like, oh, that is something I don't know about. The other thing is you could be based pretty much anywhere in the UK. A lot of people don't really want to move away from home. You guys, you've been university students, you're probably away from home now, so you already experienced that being away from home. So you're probably thinking, do you know what? I quite like it. I like I'm away, studying away. This is my student life. This is me. But I've always got that. My family's there. My friends are back there for when I go home. And it's quite a nice experience to go home. So I like being away from home because when I do go home, I get to meet up with my friends. I get to meet up with my family. And it's always like there's something new going off. That's the way I like it. But obviously some people are slightly different. A big negative for me is the deployments. For my trade, it's 6 months, which is quite a long time. It's obviously 6 months away is quite a long time. It doesn't matter how much you like being away, how much you like going to new countries, being away from your family and friends, and not doing just like your normal activities, whether it's going out for a meal or just going around to see your parents for a brew. Not being able to do that for 6 months is quite hard, and you have to find a way to deal with it. Because you're away with other people who are in the same boat, you all sort of work together to get through it. So there is people out there that will help you and assist you, and we also have the internet connectivity, and you can write letters or emails, whichever you prefer. So there are ways and means of keeping in contact. It's just that personal touch that you can't really replicate. But saying that, after the 6 months, you come back, you'll have a bit of leave. For every 8 days you are away, you get an additional day leave. So you get an extra couple of weeks where you can spend with your friends and family, get that dose of that personal touch, go drink all them cups of tea, biscuits, whatever around your parents' house, and I'm sure you'll be ready to get back to work. And that's it, really. I'm not going to go into too much detail about everything because there is quite a lot to talk about. If any of you do have any questions, if you want to chuck them into the public chat, and I'll have a read through and try and answer them as much as possible.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrew. That was really good, very informative. And I believe it is a very good opportunity for our students as well. So those that have any questions, please feel free to ask. I do have a few questions before you move on to students asking questions. In regards to your recruitment process, how does that work? Obviously, they apply online, but what is the process like in terms of them applying? Is it, CV, application forms, assessment centres, or training? Maybe?
Sorry, I interrupted you towards the end. So with regards to our application process, we've streamlined it as much as we can, really. And I think COVID-19 has helped us to streamline it a bit more, to reduce how much contact we have to have with people in regards to getting them travel to our career offices and all that stuff. So we've gone into the virtual world as much as possible. So the process is fairly simple. Once you find the role that you're interested in online, just click apply at the bottom of the page for that role. There's apply now. You click on that, you create a profile on there, which is your basic details. So your name, age, address, education, hobbies, basic stuff like that. Pretty much not far off the information you're probably putting us into a CV. Once you've filled that in, you click submit. That will go to our virtual AFCO. Once they receive it, they'll look through, make sure that you've got the education requirements, that you are in the right age bracket for the role. If they're happy, they will forward your application to the local career office to you guys. So I'll use Birmingham for instance, as that is the one I'm linked to. If you go to the Birmingham office, what they will do is they will send you out all the forms that are required to be completed. Once you have completed all of them and returned them, you will then sit your first test in. Whether that's, if you go for an officer role, your first testing will be an interview. This interview will be done via Skype. If it's an officer role that requires the aptitude test, these are pilot role, intelligence role, and all aircrew roles. These you'll go up to RAF Cranwell, where you do a computer-based aptitude test, which is basically a day of playing games on a computer, which tests how you respond, how your brain works, how your hands and feet operate independently, how you can multitask by doing tasks with your hands as well as work out maths equations, and it assesses your ability to do all these sorts of taskings to see how well you would be able to complete the training for pilot and intelligence roles and the aircrew roles. So obviously, if you go for a non-officer role, your first testing would be the airman selection test, which is a multi-guess question paper where there'll be there's a maths element, an English element, a science element, memory test, and it's just to gauge your ability to work under the constraints of that exam. We get the result and see how well you'd be able to cope with the phase 2 training elements of our courses. Once all that bit's done, you will have a filter interview. So this interview will assess to see what skill sets you've got. So what leadership qualities, what teamwork qualities, and what communication qualities you have. And then the second half of the interview is, why do you want to join the RAF? Why do you want to join the role that you've applied for? And what you know about the Air Force. If you manage to pass that, you go off and you'll do a medical. This medical is with an independent doctor, so it's not with the Royal Air Force doctors, and they will tell us whether you meet our medical standards or not. If you do, you'll go on to a fitness test, which, depending on your age and sex, it will determine what standards you need to meet. But we'll say for 18 to 30-year-old male, it's 11:11 or a mile and a half on the treadmill. You have to do 20 press-ups and 34 sit-ups in a minute. For females, you get slightly longer on the run, and then you get less press-ups and less sit-ups to have to do. But for the exact standards for your age, I'd recommend go on our website. All the information's on there. If you are quite concerned about the fitness because you're not sure if you have the standard, on our website we have a 12-week training program called RAF Fit for Action. Download that and follow that, and you should be pretty much good to go for the fitness test. If you pass the fitness test, that's it. We will offer you a contract and try and get you a training slot. Obviously, there may be some time till the next training slot is available, but if you pass everything, we will get you a slot. When it comes to the officer roles, the wait could be a bit longer, but for our ground trades, we generally, I think the longest we have people wait is 6 months after the fitness test. We try not to keep that wait too long, because obviously it's quite a lot of change in your life, and obviously you're going to put other things on hold whilst you're doing this application. This is why we always say to people, continue your life as normal as much as possible. if you're at university, start your application with about 6 months left of your university course. So then we'll be able to get you through as much of the application process as possible without affecting what your next steps after university life. Yeah, and that is the process. It is fairly streamlined. It may sound like there's a lot of steps, a lot of hurdles, but all these are in place to help us assess your motivation and also to make sure that we get the right people for the right roles, because we don't want to get people in that don't really want to do it or they're not really sure of what they're letting themselves in for. So on average, our application process is roughly about 6 months. It is a little bit longer at the minute because of COVID, because we have had to reduce training slots at our phase 1 establishments. But fingers crossed, we are starting to get back to the sort of training numbers that we had before COVID. Cool. I see Dylan's asked a question. Would asthma or similar medical condition be a restriction to some roles? With that, Dylan, it would all depend on your medical history. And unfortunately, as I'm not medically trained, I cannot give you a yes-no answer. So it would be down to our doctors to assess your medical history to that, what medication you take and all that sort of stuff. And they will be the ones that make the judgment on that call, I'm afraid, Dylan.
Great. I think we have another question coming in. I think the student is still typing up. But I thank you for the answer regarding the recruitment process. That was very detailed and informative. Hopefully that helped, guys. But obviously Andrew's got his details just up there. So do get in touch with them, any questions you may have. And I believe RAF also have their recruitment webinars going on next week, isn't it? I think this week or next week. I know Helen sent something through, but I think there's quite a few recruitment webinars or events taking place.
Yeah, we currently have a thing called Access All Areas that's going off once a week. I think it's Thursday. Don't quote me on that. I'm not involved with the Access All Areas, but we are running them. I think there's one this Thursday and one next week. If you just go online and just Google search RAF Access All Areas, you'll be able to find that and register your interest and pop along. With the Access All Areas, you'll be able to speak to individuals who do the different roles. So if there is a specific role area that you're interested in, you'll be able to speak to individuals that are in that sort of specialist area to give you a bit more detailed and accurate information.
Okay, thank you. The question is still coming through, but we will make this the last one, depending on what the question is, because we are waiting. Well, our next guest speaker is here, so we will be introducing him soon. But yep, the question is here.
Oh, okay. So I do apologise if I get your name wrong. Ayamu, is it? I hope it's close. Any experience required for each role in the area of Air Operational Officer? Well, there's the only roles we actually want prior experience to join the RAF is lawyer, doctor, dentist, and nurse. Pretty much every other role except our chaplain, imam, and musician, you do not need prior experience. We will teach you everything you will need to know for that role. So the Air Operational Officer roles, if they are something that take your fancy and you think, yeah, that's something I'd like to learn more about, just jump on our website. As long as you pass our entry standards and our educational standards that we require at the start, you are good to go. And we will train you and give you the mentoring once you get into the role to ensure that you're able to do the role to a high standard. Hopefully that answers your question. Oh, what about customer service department? We don't really do customer service department as such. We do get audited. We do get government departments come and inspect us to ensure that we are maintaining the standards that we should be, and we also get inspected by other nations. In the sense of customer service department, we don't really have anything of the sort. If that's something that you're probably looking at, or if that's something that interests you, I'll probably point you to our human resources area. That would be our personnel support officer role, and have a look at that sort of role, because they sort of look after that sort of area to maintain our standards and make sure that we are doing what we should be doing at the locations we are.
Thank you. Thank you again. Hope that answers your question, Dantry. Thank you. We do need to finish off now. We need to start the next speaker at 1:30. So thank you very much, Andrew. Thank you for your time. Students, again, details are on the main screen, so please do make a note of that. And we should be introducing Beren from Sense Charity shortly. So can we please say thank you to Andrew for his time for today. And Andrew, hopefully I'll be in touch soon. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. It's been good, and good luck with whatever you may do with your careers and at university. Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Please can we welcome our next guest from Sense. Please welcome Beren. Beren, I will make you presenter now, so you can take over.
Thank you. Thanks, Jasmine. And Sabbath, we've got Ruth here as well. I think we're just going to add Ruth in so that she can give you a little talk through this. So we've got both of us today. There we are, Ruth. We can all see her now. So I'll hand you over to Ruth. Ruth's going to tell you a little bit about Sense, what we do. Ruth's been with us for a little period of time now, so she's going to be the best one to tell you all about it.
Ruth, we can't hear you.
Ruth would need to rejoin in the conference, but as you need to select the microphone option, Ruth. So you will need to re-enter, similar to the trial that we done with Beren last week.
I'll have Ruth rejoin. We can go through everything for you.
Yep. So Ruth will need to join in, select the microphone option, and then the eco test says thumbs up, and then she could start walking through the microphone.
Thank you.
Hello.
Perfect. Thank you, Ruth.
Right, so you can hear me now.
Yes, and I've made you presenter as well, so you can go through the slides.
Oh, brilliant. Lovely. Okay, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining today. So I'm Ruth Bennett-Anderson from Sense. We're a national organisation. Let me just see if I can move the slide. Okay, so Sense is for everyone living with complex disabilities, for everyone who's deaf-blind. We're here to help people communicate and experience the world. So I'm going to rabbit through this because we've got not a lot of time. So obviously Sense, we believe that no one, no matter how complex their disability, should be isolated, left out, or unable to fulfil their potential. And we support children, young people, adults and families through supporting the home, the community and our centres, residential care and supported living. We have education and transition to adulthood. We have holidays and short breaks, is what I'm currently involved with at the moment. We do arts, sport and wellbeing programmes through national lottery funding. We have an information and advice team, and we're constantly campaigning for the rights of people with complex disabilities through the government all the times. And we support individuals to communicate, access information, take part in life. So individuals who have sight and hearing impairments, classed as deaf-blind or MSI, multisensory impairments, sight or hearing impairments with additional needs and a combination of other needs, including learning disabilities, physical disabilities or autism. So with Sense, we feel that no one should be left out. With the right support, a person can make sense of their own world and the world around them, no matter how complex their disabilities. At Sense, we take the time to empower each person to communicate, but be it through movement, gesture or sound, art or dance, or just connecting people with their peers. So the SENSE services that we have, SENSE Living, so that's residential care, supported living and individual support, including SENSE communicator guides and intervener services, which, so SENSE, just to give you an idea of the size that we are nationally, just in Birmingham alone, I think we have 26 residential homes, and that can be comprised of young adults, where 3 people live together, up to, I think the largest home we have is about 9. So that's all across the West Midlands, and we have 26 of those. Then we also have a supported living projects where people have support in their own home. So they rent their own flats maybe, or a house, and they may share with others, where they we just go in and support them for certain parts of the day, or in some cases 24 hours a day. Depending on the need of that person. So that enables them to do whatever they want to do in life. So it might be to help somebody to go to a college daily or a day centre, or be at home and have other interests and go to pottery classes and stuff like that. SENSE Day opportunities. So in Birmingham, again, alone, where I'm based, we have 2 day centres where we have young adults accessing all different times of the day. They come in, and some will do physiotherapy. We have sensory rooms. We have gong bathing. The list is absolutely endless. Rock climbing. They go for rambles. They cook. They go out and have meals with staff maybe. So all sorts of different things they're doing, day centre opportunities. SENSE College. We have a new college that's based in Selly Oak in Birmingham, but we have colleges in Peterborough, and a few dotted around the country where we're actually Ofsted registered, and that's an educational setting for young adults. SENSE Holidays and Short Breaks comprises of SENSE have a national programme. Every year, obviously, COVID this year has stopped our holidays, but we run, on average, I think it's about 12 opportunity weekly holidays throughout the 6-week summer holidays. We've done some at Christmas, so they can be children's holidays specific, with high complex needs, which gives the families respite care that's needed. Or we do young adult holidays where they may go on a city break for a week and join in with others that we've matched them up in a good group. So it could be a signing group maybe of some young deaf adults with additional needs. And then we have the older peoples where we might take them away for a Christmas party week to a hotel maybe in Wales where they do all Christmas activities for a week. So that's the holidays. Then short breaks, we also, which is what I'm involved in, an ops manager for, is we run a national programme called GOT, which stands for Get Out There for Kids. And that is for children of the ages probably from 5 up to the age of 18, where we run social clubs every Saturday. And we're currently in Trafford, Stockport, Warwickshire, Samwell and Birmingham, and hopefully soon Salford. So that's growing all the time. So we offer weekly Saturday clubs, 4 hours where children can come and do what they want to do. They can socialise, play, meet other friends and have nice peer groups there and give families a break. From that, we also do after school clubs, and we also run short little breaks and PA services in the community for some of those children that maybe the group is too much for them, can be oversensory, and they might have a staff member that goes out, meets them at home and takes them out somewhere on activities for the afternoon and things like that. Other specialist services, we have our own usher support, Care Act assessments, and for people with ushers and their families and professionals, where we do massive events to bring people together with usher syndrome, and other like charge syndrome events. So there's national events that probably happen once a year. We do Deafblind International, where lots of people come together for a conference and meet up with other families worldwide. SENSE Arts and Sports and Wellbeing, that's a national offer. We run a buddying scheme which is open to most people in nationally. So if anybody refers in for a child or a young adult that wants to buddy up virtually with somebody that's like-minded, then we match people up and they have a couple of hours over a Zoom or a Teams or FaceTime each week that gives the families a break and gives some that person who's in isolation somebody else to talk to and have a different conversation. And then we have our information and advice team where all our referrals naturally come into, and they will signpost to all of our different services where people need to be. And then campaigning we do with government over DDA subjects, but access for people on trains and crossings, things like that. We might be campaigning for less isolation for people. We might campaign for people who are isolated at the moment and asking the government to put more in place for those. So that's a massive quick rundown of that. So stories to show the difference Sense makes. These are just a few of our many wonderful stories. So by joining Sense, you can help to create more. So I'm not sure whether so I'll just leave you 2 seconds. So Luca started helping Luca from the day he was born, teaching him to communicate with his parents and experience the world. And this is some feedback that the parents have given us. And this lovely lady here is Anne Chesborough, that we do a lot of work with our children. An amazing lady who has a wealth of knowledge and been around since, I would imagine, nearly 30 years. So it's a bit longer than myself. And Joe's story. So we spotted Joe's ability to communicate with his eyes, and as a result, he was able to demonstrate his potential to learn and secure a college place to continue his education. So what our assessments and obviously specialist people like Anne Chesborough would recognise in Joe is that actually he can communicate. And I really think that switches were put in place and a special eye recognition screen, and he's living life to the full. And then Lynn moved into a new home with Sense supporting her. She was able to start living her life again. So again, this is a supported living service example. And that's me rambling on quickly. So if you need any more information, obviously this is the website you need to go to, jobs.sense.org.uk, which is Berren, who has a wealth of knowledge with Sense Careers. And this is his email where you can contact him. So do you want Berren me to talk a bit about my kind of life journey in Sense, or do you want to open up to questions? And breathe.
Let's have a breath. Yeah, if you want to let people know how they can, so from joining, what they can do, how you progress through, so they can have an idea that it's not just a stopgap for people, it is a career, it is something that people can, really.
Okay, so my quick story in very quick terms is that I've been in Sense 21 years, and I came to Sense. I started off as a travel agent, and ended up taking some young adults with disabilities through shop mobility to Florida for 2 weeks, and I ended up being their rep to go with them because it was a big group of over 20 disabled people, which I absolutely loved, and met somebody who was a friend who worked for Sense at the time, and I'd told them how much I'd enjoyed it, and they said, oh, you should come and work for Sense. So I did. I applied for Sense and became a support worker, and worked in a home of 3 young adults for a couple of years, which progressed on to me applying for a communicator guide service, because I thought 3 years is enough in residential. What else is there that I can do? I enjoyed working with people one-to-one. And then I joined the communicator guide service, which is a communicator guide is somebody that will be the eyes and ears of somebody in the community. So I worked with 5 adults. I had 5 people in my remit that I used to work with on different days. And that would be taking them on day trips or just helping them to go and pay bills, hospital doctor's appointments, visiting family that they wouldn't normally be able to do, and basically communicating on their behalf. So I'm skilled in deafblind manual, so I worked with a lady for a few years who only talks on her hand, but she has speech. So I used to communicate with her for appointments, and then she'd obviously talk through the person. So I'd ask her the questions on her appointments and really enjoyed that. So from ComGuides, then I actually led the ComGuide service for a few years. And then I progressed on to managing my own residential settings. So I became CQC registered manager of a couple of homes, which I did for, I think, about 7 years. And then I also worked in our quality and compliance department, where I dealt with all the CQC registrations for managers, supporting managers to get registered who were new in the homes, and looking after everybody nationally, and going out and doing audits and making sure everybody was up to speed with CQC standards in their homes, which was really interesting. And then I went full circle and came back to communicator guides and interveners and run that for a few more years, and it was great to reconnect with some of the people and see how far they'd come. And since then, I'm now become the operations manager of all the GOT groups. So lots of different careers and lots of moving around, but within the same organisation. So although I've had lots of interviews and different jobs within the organisation, it's been really good for my development, that Sense really do invest in somebody that's, you know, enthusiastic about the role and wants to develop. So I've been given quite a few opportunities and been allowed to grow, really. So that's probably why I've been around in Sense for so long. And there's lots of people like me who've been in Sense a long time, but changed jobs paths, because we're a national organisation. And there's always, you see jobs and vacancies come up, you think, oh, could I do that? Have I got the experience for it? I think my skills could transfer into that, and I'll give that a go. So yeah, it's a great big Sense family here. And that's my kind of journey, really.
Lovely, thanks, Ruth. Has anyone got any questions for Ruth or Polly?
Thank you both for that presentation and for sharing your journey, Ruth.
Thank you.
Anyone have questions? Do you want to put them in the chat now while the employers are still here? First question, what is the application process?
So depending on which role you go for, so as I say, there's quite a broad range. So if we look at things like the community services, which and the GOT groups, which Ruth is involved in, so getting you matched up with the right person is really key. So we'll have a telephone conversation and a video call with yourself, you know, see what your availability is, what your passion is, what you're interested in, and then we can match you with someone who has like for like. So you know, you're not just supporting an individual, you're someone who has the same interests. Could be, you know, it's about matching you with the right person. So that's for those. If you're looking at more of a residential setting, it's more of a formal panel interview where you'll be asked your questions in regards to the particular service, the people that we support, any conditions that we may need you to be aware of, or training that would need to be undertaken. You know, it goes from there. So anything from the you know, an architect we move through, and we'll get you straight through. Obviously, everything is relevant dependent on your DBS check and referencing. So yeah, that's basically in a nutshell how it's done. Online application with a CV, depending on the role. If it's a management role, then we normally ask for a cover letter so that you can express a little bit more about your experiences that are relevant. And then again, the same process of video panel. Obviously, everything's changed with COVID, so everything's over video now and not so much face-to-face. And then we've got a question here. So how many hours do students need to complete as a minimum? So every role is different. So because Ruth will testify to this, there's no set minimum, because, you know, if we're looking after someone in the community, they may require someone for 4 hours per week. They may require someone for 2 hours a week or every other week. So there's not a minimum set that you need. We support individuals as per their needs. So let's say if you were matched to an individual that requires 4 hours every other week, then that would be what you would look at. There could also be another individual alongside that. So you could support 2 or 3 individuals across the week. That would mean that you're doing 12, 14, 16 hours per week. But it's completely dependent on your availability and how you're matched to an individual.
Okay, great. Thank you for your time. The presentation has been recorded, so students will have access to this after. But we do have one more question. Does the student need to be based in Birmingham?
No, so we're a national organisation, so depending on where you're based, there is pretty much going to be a role for you. So a lot of our GOT stuff, as Ruth was saying, so they get out their groups and things like that. We're based around Birmingham, Stafford, Sandwell, what's it called now? I can't even remember the name. Up towards Stockport and all around there. But if you have a look on our website, there is a huge amount. And it's constantly changing. As I say, we work with referrals. So as we have people who have the need, we will then find someone who can match that and can deliver that care for that person.
Thank you for your time. We are going to have our next speaker now. So if there's any more last questions, you can put them in the chat just before they leave. No, I don't think there's any more. Well, thank you. And the presentation will be shared. And if it's okay with you, the students will have your email addresses as well in case they want to ask you a question later themselves.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. Bye.
Bye now.
Our next speaker will now be Lynn from Incarta Recruitment. I will just share the presentation and make you presenter. You are presenter now.
Hi Lynn, it's Sabbath. You've joined in with your headphones. You will need to come back in the conference and click on microphone. If you re-click on the conference link, select microphone and then echo test, thumbs up, and you should be able to hear you.
Hello.
Perfect, we can hear you now.
Hi, Sabbath. Can you hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you now.
Fabulous. Okay, great. How's it going so far?
Great,
Very
so
good,
far, Lynn.
Are you ready to start?
Okay.
I've made you presenter, so you can just flick through the slides when you're ready.
Okay, they're automatic, so is that okay? They're just going to have to play.
They should be. If you click play, we'll see.
Okay. It's right. I was right on the leave audio icon. Okay, got it.
Hi Lynn, it would be better if you just flick through the slides. If you just go.
It's not okay. Okay, brilliant.
Okay.
Okay, great. Okay, lovely. Okay, welcome everyone. I'm Lynn Jaffa. So let me just go back to this slide. Welcome everyone. I'm Lynn Jaffa. I'm the MD of Incarta. It's great to meet you all, and I look forward to chatting with you afterwards. I designed Incarta to bridge the gap between industry and education to facilitate the match between elite hotels and talented students like yourselves. The Pride of Britain Consortium is a collection of 50 luxury and boutique hotels, each extraordinarily unique, and they invite you to join their team. This is a video which we're going to play later, but it'll give me some time to give you a feel for Incarta and the consortium. So I'll explain a little about me. I originally set up Incarta, as I said, to bridge the gap between industry and education. And during lockdown, when the plug was pulled on both institutes, and the hotels, rather than sit at home and lick our wounds, we contacted over 250 hospitality and culinary arts schools, colleges, and universities around the globe and developed fabulous partnerships such as UCB and Sabbath. So that once the doors to our industry opened again, we were here and ready to help you find your first steps in your career. Incarta provides unique opportunities to develop your potential. Why Pride of Britain Hotels? As a former Pride of Britain hotelier and board member, I chose to partner with this fabulous collection as they are all privately owned, and I trust in them to continue your immersive training and allow you to shine. Pride of Britain is a non-for-profit organisation representing some of the very best independent hotels in Britain. The collection was formed in 1982 and continues to be controlled by its member hotels, who have the last word on how many hotels join, which is never more than 50. They also have 9 Michelin stars across the collection, as well as scores of AO rosettes in fine dining, brasseries, country pubs, giving the opportunity to work in diverse range of restaurants and kitchens. The exclusive collection, which includes South Lodge, Pennyhill Park, to name a few, actively encourage you to rotate between their fabulous hotels and restaurants to gain maximum experience. In July, there was a resurgence for opportunities in the UK, and POB ran this showcase, which we'll show you afterwards. And this demonstrates the quality of service required and the quality of the hotel. This is no doubt a tough time. And when you get a foot in the door, you need to remain positive and passionate. But now hopefully with the rapid testing and the vaccinations, our industry will flourish again, and no doubt it will bounce back. It is a tough time, but you really need to get your CVs in front of the hoteliers and breathe your confidence. So take this time to improve your skills, particularly IT, and show that this time has not been wasted, and make sure you use these platforms such as Incarta to build future relationships. We have to remain positive, creative, innovative, flexible, and adaptable, but we are in this together and we will succeed together. So hopefully when you see this slideshow later, it's beautiful. The collection's outstanding. So here are why sign up to Incarta? Here are some of the benefits for you, which you can read through. That it just gives you an opportunity to get your CV in front of this elite collection of hotels. Oh, sorry, it's a bit dark. The hotels can also headhunt you from our diverse pool of professional candidates, creating this dynamic industry relationship. Whether you're looking for a front of house role, prefer to work behind the scenes, or have a particular job in mind, you'll easily be able to search through all the list of vacancies. Our map that we have on the homepage allows you to search by region, city, role, salary, or job type to find the perfect positions for you. We also have the opportunity for internships, either 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months management placements. The MIT in Goring, they run one, and so does the Gilpin Lodge in the Lake District. So you have a couple of hotels who have specific training schedules, but they welcome any internships, and the places are paid for, and they often have accommodation. This is Matt. I met Matt at the Ashburton Culinary School. Absolutely fabulous. There's 16 students, and Matt, they all uploaded their CV onto Incarta and actively applied for jobs. And Matt got a position on interview at Gravetime Manor, and he's still there. He's loving it, and so many opportunities. These are some jobs we currently have advertised on the site. We have Neil Keating in the image here. He is a 2 Michelin star chef at the age of 25, and went to Watley Manor a couple of years ago, retained a Michelin stars, now building up. He's also the Michelin Chef of the Year, and the hotel has got so many accolades Sue is the new chairman of Pride of Britain. She's also Hotelier of the Year. So there's a wealth of knowledge and experience that you will encounter and engage in these privately run hotels. The Torridon was recently featured on TV. The Gilpin Lodge, they've also got a Michelin star. And so this is just several of the 50 hotels that you will have access to. Moving on, how to sign up. It's really easy to register and create a profile, and I would encourage you to add your photo and provide as much information as possible. You can also add a video in the workplace to demonstrate your skills, and Skype details, so the hoteliers can contact you if travel is still restricted. Our IT team at Standout, Chris Smith, as well as the Incarta team, are all here to help you. This is a template that you'll see once registered, and you just click through the buttons to create your profile, add your CV, and then you can apply for jobs that we have advertised on the site. Even if your job is not listed or your preferred job is not listed, just apply to the hotels anyhow, because inevitably these placements will come up in the near future, and with internships, their doors are always open for opportunities. Keep your CV in the mind of the employers. You also have the opportunity to win an iPad. If you register and upload your CV before December the 1st, a student from Glion in London won it last time and is delighted. These are our contact details, so please contact me after the event or anytime at all. We also have our LinkedIn, Insta and Facebook pages, and please do contact me and please keep in touch. It's lovely to meet you all, and I'd really like to thank you for your time today so far.
Thank you, Lynn. That was great. If anyone has any questions, you can put them in the chat. I've just made Sabath presenter so we can show your video, and then we'll get towards the questions, if that's okay.
Fabulous. Thank you.
Great. We do have one question. I'll read it out to you and then you can answer. Okay. What do you recommend we do to make our profiles / CVs that would make us more visible to potential employers?
When you go into the site, you have the opportunity to upload your experience, your qualifications, and your photograph and such. And the more information you put on there, the more it will stand out. We've got quite a few on there with no photographs, and it just doesn't give the impact others do. And also, if you can see the other list, when you see the other listings, you'll see that the more information you put on there, the more there is for the hotelier to have your first glimpse, which is your first opportunity and a first foot in the door, is there in front of them. Videos in the workplace are fabulous, because if you're whether you're chef or whatever department it is, just to show a glimpse of what you've experienced or your capabilities is an asset. So I'd recommend that you just put as much information on as possible. And as I said earlier, even if some of the hotels haven't listed the position that you're looking for, when you apply for the job, you have the opportunity to add notes. And on this section, add that you're looking for an internship, it's a graduate placement, it's an MIT, it's whatever you choose, or whatever your requests are on whatever department. Just put as much information as you can in the initial introduction, because at the moment, as you can imagine, there's just such a glut of redeployed staff available, and you just need to make sure you shine.
Thank you. The next question, is it possible to do a placement through your organisation, either 6 months or 1 year?
Absolutely, yes, yeah. The hotels are actively and accepting placements, whether it's a June placement, a January. A lot of the Swiss hotels have January to September, September to January. So there's a constant flow of professional internships available, and this is what they're actually actively encouraging. So yes, please contact either myself, and I can contact the hotels. Being a former board member, I know majority of the owners, and it's great for me to be able to actually have that working relationship, and vice versa. As I get to know the students, I can go to the hotels, and it's just a great working relationship.
Okay, next question. For the hotel sector, will they consider hiring people in their marketing, PR, communication sector, or only operational side?
No, it's because some of the hotels, like the Goring Hotel, Athenaeum, Calcott Manor, a group hotel, an exclusive collection, have got 8 in the collection. So there's they're looking at HR, they're looking at all departments. So the smaller hotels are obviously very limited, but definitely approach all the hotels for any of these positions. And if they haven't got the position available immediately, you'll definitely be your CV will be retained. And this is where you just need to keep refreshing and reminding the hoteliers that you're out there.
Okay, thank you. I think we have one more person typing a message. Oh no, we just said thank you. Would you be able to put your email address in the chat box, Lynn, and then the students could possibly email you afterwards if they have any questions that they might not want to put?
Of course. Yes, of course. And at any time, whether it's technical or just reassurance of certain hotels, please contact me. And if you wanted to arrange a fam trip to any of the hotels, once permitted, it'd be great to get a fam trip organised for, say, the Cotswold group with there's 5 hotels there. So it would be fantastic for you to get out and visit these hotels.
Well, that would be a great experience for the students. We do have another question. Is there opportunities in the events management side of things, and can students work abroad if they wish?
At the moment, we don't have any. It's mainly UK hotels, but we are in talks with a group hotel who are worldwide, who are interested in becoming a partner with Incarta, and that would open doors to a global collection of hotels. So yeah, watch this space. But at the moment, it is mainly it's just UK. But in answer to the question about events, definitely all of the hotels have events, and hopefully with all these deferred functions and weddings and everything else, it should be a bumpy year for them next year.
Okay, great. Thank you. I don't think there's any more questions. Thank you for your time, Lynn.
Okay, thank you.
Recorded, so students will have access to it afterwards as well.
Fabulous. And thank you for the invitation, and great to meet you all.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you. Bye-bye.
minutes, I would say about 5 to 10 minutes now before the next speaker joins in from Monarch Education, Ishrat. So we will just wait for her. We are quite ahead of schedule. So do give us about 5 to 10 minutes till she joins. In the meantime, grab yourself again a cuppa, have a little break, and we will speak to you shortly. Thank you. Today, Ishrat. And obviously thank you for the students that are still in the conference who will be listening to you. So I think Yasmin's ready to present now, so you should be able to present.
Just to let you know, I'm also here, Ishrat's colleague Sophie, so I'm the manager for the Birmingham and Solihull branch, so I am here to ask any questions and answer anything that anyone needs.
Brilliant, thank you very much. Can I get your name, please?
Yeah, my name's Sophie. Sophie Banks.
Welcome, Sophie, and welcome, Ishrat. We will pass it on to you, and you guys can start presenting. Thank you.
Right then, so just to give you a little update on who we are and what we're all about. So we are an education recruitment agency. So we are based in Birmingham. However, we are nationwide. So we literally cover every corner of everywhere that you can think of. So we work with all sorts of settings: nurseries, primary schools, secondary schools, and as far as alternative provisions. So we do a bit of everything really. So we work closely with head teachers to cover sickness supply. So we do get calls on mornings for last minute, please help me, my teaching assistant's called in sick for year 1. We also cover things like maternity leaves, paternity leave. So the length of assignment that we can give you could range for anything. So I think the beauty of supply is that it is quite flexible. We do intervention roles. So at the moment, for example, we've got a job role which is 3 days a week, providing phonics support to boost learning within year 1. We are currently getting a lot of boosting roles at the moment because with lockdown, children lost so much valuable time within education. We are finding that a lot of children have really kind of gone backwards in their learning. So a lot of the roles we're getting at the moment is to provide focused and targeted support. And you'll see on the last bullet point on this slide, we also do support staff, which a lot of agencies don't do actually. So this is more for people who are wanting to up their experience alongside studies, or maybe people who are a little bit limited on hours, but we do lunchtime supervisors, admin, receptionists, exam invigilators, caretakers, and a bit of everything. So me, myself, I'm the manager of the Birmingham and Solihull and Coventry team. But as you can see on this slide, we cover a bit of everywhere. We do also have sister companies within us. So if on this list you're looking at an area and thinking mine isn't on there, or I know somebody who's looking for work in an area that's not listed, we have 2 sister companies who cover everywhere that we don't. So we do have coverage everywhere. So the way it works is it's pretty simple, to be honest. Obviously, there's a lot of paper, there is some paperwork that you have to fill out. So when we speak to people, we have an application pack which asks your factual information, so name, address, date of birth. It will also then go into what qualifications you've got, but also the extra training that you may have picked up along the way or on your courses, such as safeguarding, prevent training, and so on. Now, before these mad times with COVID and this mass pandemic we're in, we did meet everyone face-to-face to talk through all of this information. But now what we're doing is, because we're not doing face-to-face meetings, it's a lot easier. It's all done via email. So, for example, myself or Ishrat would email over application packs. Once they're all completed, we set up a Zoom interview. So you come on the camera to us, we talk through everything, answer all your questions. And then moving on from there, we get things like your DBS done. So if you do have a DBS with your learning platform and it's on the update service, we can use that. But if not, we can facilitate that for you. Obviously, a DBS does cost money, but we do offer that money back to you. So after you work 12 days of supply with us, we'll refund you the whole cost of your DBS. You then are also welcome to join the update service, which means it will make it portable, meaning you can then kind of use that with other employers. So if you decided to do some voluntary work with Scouts on the weekend, you will be able to use your DBS with them too. Now, we are, without getting into it too much, we're approved by the Department for Education. So the DFE kind of qualify all of our safeguarding. We are also REC accredited, which means that schools come to us because they know our level of safeguarding is so stringent. So one of the checks that we do have to do is get references covering the last 2 years, detailing your relevant experience as well as kind of any more recent employer references. But we do guide you through that process step by step. So we make it as easy as possible for you. We do all the hard work. You just give us the information and we chase everything up for you. Oh, next slide. Okay. So the benefits of working for us. So we opened in 1992. We actually started in our Birmingham head office and we've just grown ever since. So when registering with us, you will be allocated to a specific consultant who specialises in your local area. So you will be given to somebody who looks after the schools where you want to travel to. Each of our teams they're big teams. We all look after different amounts of schools. So, for example, on my Birmingham team, as you know, there are hundreds and hundreds of schools within Birmingham. So there's 8 consultants working across the team. So we all share bookings. So even though you register with a dedicated consultant, you are registering with the whole office. So any work that comes in that matches your skill set, you will be offered it. Not only that, but we want to thank you for referring people to us. So if you find that the service we've provided you is really good and you want to refer your friends to come and register with us, providing that friend hasn't already registered with us, if they register successfully, go on to work 20 days with us, which it does kind of clock up pretty quickly, we will offer you £200 to say thank you as a referral bonus. Now, training workshops and CPD, one of the really big things that we do offer, which people love, is a team teach course, all about de-escalation techniques, really to be used with settings with really challenging behaviour. Now, obviously, that is a face-to-face manual handling course. So at this present time, that isn't being offered because of COVID and social distancing, but that is one of the courses that we've offered every year. Normally that course is in the hundreds of pounds, but we offer it at a discounted rate of £30. We do also do a lot of online workshops. So any opportunities that we get given for online safeguarding courses, prevent courses, behaviour awareness courses, once on our books, you'll get the opportunity to complete all of those, and most are free. Mentioned on the first couple of slides as well that we do reimburse you your DBS cost after 12 days of work. And the only reason for that is just to say thank you really for the hard work that you've completed so far. Then school feedback, I think, is the most important thing, because as we're all starting off with our careers, I think the most important thing is to be able to reflect on what you've done, because I don't think anybody can improve without having some feedback. So at the end of every placement, we always do call the school, whether that be for a day, a week, 2 weeks or a year. And we do make sure we get you some really good feedback. And we do ask for references off that placement as well, just to build your portfolio as well. So, yeah, I think I wanted to give you a quick snapshot of everything it takes from the initial phone call, registering with us, and then what kind of service we can provide you. I think there's the idea of agency work. I think people may think it's one of those, it's a stopgap. It's things that people do to try and fill a gap whilst you're looking for a permanent job. But actually, it couldn't be further from the truth. We have people who have gone on to have really successful careers. I mean, I placed somebody at the beginning of my recruitment career 6 years ago, and they've gone on to be a deputy head teacher of a pupil referral unit in the school that I placed them at as a teacher. So you can really develop your career within agency work. So does anyone have any questions for me about anything?
Thank you, Sophie. That was a really great presentation. Very informative. I do have a question before, if any students were to ask. My question is, in regards to the recruitment side of the process, is a CV enough, or do they have to do particular applications for different schools, or how does it work?
So we take control of all that for you. So if you were to register with me yourself, you'd send me your CV. I'd have a scan through it to make sure I was prepared for the call. We'd then call you and basically tell you everything that was needed. Once your file's cleared with us, meaning we've got all your safeguarding information, I or the consultant that you were paired with would write you a Monarch CV. We would use that to apply to all the jobs on your behalf. So we send out regular kind of vacancy mail shots. Your consultant obviously gets to know you really well, so we'll know straight away what job you're looking for. So if we have a job that we think will be of interest for you, we'll call you. If you're interested, we take care of all the application side of things. We will then just call you back if you've been shortlisted. We'll arrange the interview. We'll tell you how to get there. We'll tell you what to do, and we kind of guide you the whole way.
Okay, great. Any questions, guys? Those that are listening in, do you have any questions for Sophie or Ishrat regarding the presentation or anything else in terms of, what they offer or the opportunities that they have available? If not, I do have quite a few questions. Another question I have is, can the students select which school they can work for, or is that something that you guys would just kind of signpost saying, no, you can work for this school, or how does it work in terms of school selection?
So when we interview people over Zoom, one of the questions that we ask is, are there any schools that you don't want to work in, for, first of all? But also, are there any schools that have caught your eye? So if you were to say to me, well, there's a school 10 minutes down the road, I've heard great things about them, I want to work there. My job then is to call that school and try and get you a job there. If not a long-term job, we can kind of offer daily supply there. Good way to get yourself known to the school for any future roles. We then obviously get to know you really well, where you will travel, what year groups you'll do, what kind of support you offer, and we will recommend schools to you. So we don't expect that you'll know exactly where you want to work. But if I call you and ask you to go somewhere and you didn't want to go, you just explain your reasons why. So obviously I can start to learn a lot more about you, about where you'll go, what you'll do. We do pride ourselves on really good relationships. So a lot of my staff, bless them, they give me their diary and I fill it up because I know exactly where they'll go and exactly what they want to do. So it is up to you, but obviously we recommend as well what we think will be good for you.
Okay, brilliant. We do have quite a few questions coming in, so students are still typing in the questions in the public.
Oh, we can see, yeah.
Yeah, but whilst they're doing that, I'll carry on with my questions.
Yeah, fire away.
So you mentioned obviously in regards to the school side of things and the selection process. Another question was, how soon do the students find out in terms of when like the next job is available, or how soon? Is it a day in advance or 2 days or a week, or how does it work?
We try and give as much notice as possible. So we offer a 24/7 service to our schools, 24/7. So if it may be sometimes if you want daily work, so if you're just wanting to build experience and do a bit of daily work, I could message you the night before, but it all depends on the school's sickness policy. So some schools will go, if you're going to call in sick, you have to let us know by 6 p.m, in which case I'll be able to give you notice of the next day's cover. Sometimes it'll be on the morning, so I could call you early on the morning and say, can you go to school today? But we do try and give you as much advance notice as possible. Now, if you are in a situation where you need advance notice, we record that on your file and we put a little note on there just to say only offer advance work. But I've just had a job in today, which is to start on the 30th of November. So it's a real mix, but we will always work to what you want to work for.
Okay, great stuff. Another question we have is, what kind of things would make us look more employable?
If I'm honest, when I'm looking at a CV, we obviously do look at the type of qualification somebody has. When working within education, there are certain requirements, because obviously we're working with children, we're working with vulnerable people. I also do look at experience. However, if experience is lacking, we look for hard workers. One of the best people I've ever recruited had a degree in something completely unrelated, but absolutely blew me away on interview. And she went on to go and support an autistic child within year 2 and went and got placed permanently with that school. So I just think the biggest thing for me is when I pick a phone up to somebody, that they're bubbly, they're friendly, they're approachable. There's nothing better than talking to somebody about what you can do to help them and hearing that they're excited about it. I've spoken to people in the past where I've literally spoke about the most perfect opportunity and they've gone, okay, that sounds good. And that just doesn't impress you, because you've got to think we're going to be placing you in front of a head teacher. And if I'm not impressed, then how can a head teacher not be? So I think the main thing is personality, your drive, your motivation. So I think that's really the key thing. And one more thing, actually, CVs and applications being grammatically correct. I know that sounds really silly, but grammar, spelling is a really big thing, because you've got to think the first thing somebody sees about you is the CV or their application. So that does need to be on point. But registering with us, we will give you advice on how to make your CV and your applications look better too.
Okay, great. Another question we have from a student is, if we don't have any experience, so basically not in the UK, would you still be able to help them? So maybe the experience, Andrew, is your experience more abroad or in another country maybe? She's just typing up. So yeah, so any experience in terms of if they don't have it in the UK, is that still relevant?
Yes. So first of all, there are some other countries who use the UK curriculum. So I've got teachers who worked over in Greece and Dubai who actually use the UK curriculum. I've had also people teaching in Africa who have used Montessori curriculum. So a lot of it is transferable, but as long as somebody, if you've worked abroad as a teacher, so I've got this teacher who's got a degree in education, and she taught in Pakistan. Now she's come over and she's absolutely fantastic because she's got the ability to teach, to support children. And it's just about us finding the right opportunity and getting you more experience. All we would say is if your experience abroad is limited, that when you register with us, you be as flexible as possible, as we may not be able to get you into the perfect role straight away, but we may be able to find you roles to build up on your experience to get you there. Is that okay?
Okay, brilliant. Yeah, Andrea, hope that answered the question. Thank you. Any more questions, guys, for Ishra or Sophie in regards to what they're offering, or anything else? Maybe if you're interested. I know Monarch have been at UCB many times, been offering brilliant opportunities for all of our students. So very, very grateful and thank you for that. But yeah, I believe that's all the questions, ladies. I don't think there will be any else. But if there is, more than happy to send them your way.
Anything you need, then just fire
And
over.
can I just lastly add on the presentation, you've got my name's Ishra. I'm the candidate care consultant for the company. So if you've got my email address and my contact number there, so if anyone is looking for work, send me an email, pop over your CV, or give me a call, and I'm available. I'm working every single day, so I can have a chat with you and kind of get the registration started for you and get the ball rolling if you are looking for work.
Sure. What I'm going to do, Ishra, is I've just put your email address into the public chat.
Brilliant.
So students can see that. So you guys can see, guys, I've just posted in Ishrat's email. So please feel free to email her if you're interested. You can go through the opportunities that they have available within Birmingham area. So do get in touch. But no, thank you very much, ladies. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And I hope you enjoyed that.
Anything you need, then feel free to contact us.
Great stuff. Will do. Thank you very much. Thank you. We will move on now quite swiftly on to the next speaker. If you just give us a minute, guys, we're going to introduce our marketing team. It's about a minute or two, and I'll pass it on to Yasmin. Thank you.
Welcome back, everyone. We will now have our colleague Sam from the marketing team who will be talking about our courses on offer for postgraduate study, how they can help you. I will make you presenter now, Sam.
Brilliant. Thank you, Yasmin. So yes, as Yasmin said, my name's Sam, and I work here in the marketing department. So I'm senior schools liaison officer. So my main job really is to go out to schools and colleges and kind of discuss what we offer in terms of courses. So whether that's college, university, or our postgraduate courses as well. So I know that there might be some college students here and university. So I'll go through the kind of undergraduate courses we have and postgraduate, and then also where you can find out more information as well from our students and also from our lecturing staff as well. So I won't be too long, but I'll kind of quickly show you the different courses and then kind of where you can find out further information. So, as you'll be aware that we have 4 different schools currently. So we've got our business school, School of Education, House Community, College of Food and Hospitality Management, and also School of Sport and Creative Services as well. So kind of first looking at the business school, these are the range of undergraduate courses we offer. And some of you, especially if you're doing a university course at the moment, you might be on one of these courses. We have also recently released that we are going to be doing computing as a degree from next September, and also business management. So those are 2 brand new courses that we'll be doing as well. So yeah, have a look through those. And then we've also, the thing to note as well with the majority of our degrees, so whether that's undergraduate and postgraduate, they are accredited by the University of Birmingham. And what that means is that they've put their stamp on it saying it's a good quality course. Those courses that aren't accredited by University of Birmingham doesn't mean that they've got less value. What that means is that we have a really strong position in the industry and industry links, and we've got an area of expertise in that subject area, and that's why it's accredited by University College Birmingham. The other thing with the University of Birmingham accreditation is on your degree certificate, it will say accredited by the University of Birmingham. So it is worth having a look when you go onto the course pages. You'll be able to see at the top whether it's accredited by us or whether it's accredited by the University of Birmingham. We then also got a range of postgraduate courses, and with the business school, quite a lot of the courses that you study at undergraduate do have that progression route into postgraduate as well. So you can see you've got a progression for aviation, tourism, if that's your interest, finance and accounting, marketing management, global meetings, and then enterprise management as well. Again, the same as if you're on a university course currently, they are vocational, so you do get those kind of real life experiences, a mix of assessment types as well, which are kind of relevant to what you'll be doing out in industry. So it very much follows on how you were studying at university, and it is that kind of just that next step up to level 7 qualifications. Especially if you want to specialise in a certain area, then you can do that through the postgraduate courses we have available. Then moving on to the School of Education, Health and Community. These are our undergraduate courses we have on offer. So very much kind of moving on from the college courses we do. And we do have a new course for this September. So that's the Primary Education Studies, which is an accelerated degree. And what that means is rather than taking 3 years to complete the degree, it's 2 years. So it is more compact, it is more intense as well in terms of the study. But what that does mean as well is that it is less in terms of tuition fees. So even though it's 2 years, it's £11,000 per year. But because you're doing it over 2 years, that's still cheaper than doing it over 3. So that's just something to look out for if you are studying at college and looking for university. We then have our postgraduate courses. So there's the PGC School Direct Pathway, and then we also have our Primary Education QTS as well. This used to be separated into 2 different age categories. So it used to be 3 to 7 years old and then 5 to 11. However, now we're just kind of covering just the primary education and getting that QTS. So it's all kind of encompassed into one course now. And then we have College of Food. So we have a range of different courses at university level. And our brand new course is the Food Science and Culinary Innovation. They've revamped all the modules for this course. And so there's lots of different things, like ones which are like, I think it's farm to fork or something like that. So it's very much kind of, you've got sustainability, you've got that kind of culinary innovation, so when you're creating new products, and also very much the food science side of things as well. So that's definitely one to have a look at. And then of course we have all our hospitality courses, and then the culinary and the bakery courses as well. Moving on to postgrad, so you do have that progression to culinary arts management. If you're currently studying that at the moment, that's a really good progression to get that next level of kind of management. You've also got the hospitality, so a progression that way as well, and the hospitality with tourism management. So it's definitely worth having a look at those if you're currently studying a hospitality course, and you'll be able to have a look in a lot more detail on the website for them. And then last but not least, we have our School of Sport and Creative Services. So the range of kind of undergraduate degrees that we've got at the moment. So Aesthetic Practitioner, which is a really popular course, and has been for the past couple of years since we started running it. We then also have our sports courses. So we recently redeveloped the Sport and Coaching Studies course. So it's now Sport, Coaching and Fitness. So all the modules have been completely revamped. There's some new modules in there, such as exercise as medicine. I think you start also looking at health promotion as well. So those are very big and key areas at the moment, especially with the current situation as well. So it's kind of been updated to make sure it's in line with the jobs that are out there into industry. Same again as well for sports management. So you may be aware that we are hosting Team Scotland for the Commonwealth Games in 2022. And as part of this, we've actually, a module has been incorporated into the sports management degree to have a look at how this would affect kind of tourism coming into Birmingham and how kind of sport is actually accelerating that tourism kind of element when the games are being hosted here as well. So that's quite an exciting and up-to-date module as well that you can look at. We also started doing football business management as well. So that's a foundation course, and that's run in partnership with Birmingham City Football Club and also Shrewsbury Town as well. So you're actually based there, kind of gaining experience. Then we have our sports therapy, and then strength conditioning and sports nutrition as well. And this course now does have a progression for postgraduate. So previously we didn't have any progression routes in terms of postgrad for sport or creative services. So the two new courses that started this September are prosthetics for film and television, and then also our strength conditioning and performance, especially utilising the brand new facilities at Moss House. So that's definitely worth looking at if you're currently on one of the sports courses here. And prosthetics, again, that kind of next step up from the specialist hair and media makeup courses as well. So I'll show you where you can find those in a second, but just to make you aware that there is kind of fee waivers for students, so UCB students that do progress with us for undergraduate to postgraduate. So if you achieve a first class honours in your degree, then if you then want to start postgraduate that September, you actually get a discount of £1,200 off your tuition fees. And there's no application necessary. We sort that out for you for UK and EU students. So you get a discount of £1,200 if you get a first class honours and look to progress straight after your undergraduate degree. Also, there is the chance that if you don't get your first class, then you can still be eligible for £600 discount to progress from undergraduate to postgraduate with us as well. So there is that kind of added bonus even if you don't achieve your first class honours as well. I like to sort of comment, it sounds like a bribe, but it's nice. You'd find quite a lot of universities do offer kind of that support if you progress internally onto postgraduate. So we do just want to make that, if you are looking to kind of progress and get onto your postgraduate, there is that option. We're here to support you as well. So in terms of finding out more, so you can order a prospectus online, so you can find out more about our undergraduate courses and also our postgraduate courses. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen so I can show you where all this information is. Give me 1 second. So this is our chat with students. So this is the first place where you can find out more information about our courses, and that's not through staff, it's directly through current students here. So all you have to do, if you're interested in a particular kind of university level course or postgraduate, you can search by area here and find the course that you're looking for. So say I'm interested in culinary arts management, and then the relevant student will appear. So this is Ruben, and you can find out all about Ruben, where he previously studied, and if you click read more, you'll be able to find more information about the favourite part of his course, social life, and also a bit more about him as well. And then all you need to do is click chat with Ruben on there, and it's a bit like WhatsApp, so you just be messaging directly to the student. So you can find out more about the course and what it's like to study postgraduate here or university here as well, in just a bit more of a relaxed environment, and you just message the students, so you don't message any staff members. There are staff on here though saying that, so you can get in contact. So the staff members are here, so if you'd rather speak to a member of the staff, we've got our support staff are available on here, and then we also do have heads of schools as well, if you want to get in contact and find out more information about the courses or entry requirements, anything like that. And then you'll see I'm on there as well, somewhere. So if you've got any questions following this presentation, you can either pop them in the chat box now and I'm happy to go through them, or you can go onto here. So there I am, so you can chat with me and I can answer any questions about university or postgrad here. Also, when you're looking kind of at the courses, so you've either got undergraduate or postgraduate. So if I go on to postgraduate here, few courses, and then there's a list of all the postgraduate courses that we offer, which I've just gone through. And then you can find out more information about those, like you would have done when you were looking for university or college. So you can find out more information about the courses that I did speak about today as well. The last thing that I just want to highlight before I answer any questions is looking at the open days as well. So they're all currently taking place online due to the current situation. So we've got our college one, which is not relevant, but we then also have our postgraduate open day, which is next Wednesday, so the 25th of November, completely online, and that's 6 p.m. till 7:30. So you can book your place, choose the course you're interested in, and then listen to the course lecturer present about the course, and then you can ask any questions as well. We also have our undergraduate open day, so that's Saturday the 28th of November. Again, it's live, and you choose between either the 12 p.m. or 2 p.m. presentation slots. So you just book your place, and then you get email and text reminders when that's coming up as well. That's a good question, Emma. So in terms of applying, so you apply direct through the direct form. I can show you that where it is on the website as well. You don't need to do a personal statement, especially it tends to be for students progressing here onto postgraduate. We already know you, kind of know your academic background as well, so we don't ask for a personal statement. So to apply, you just go onto study here, how to apply, and then scroll down to postgraduate, and then you click on whether you're a UK or EU student or whether you're an international student there. So I just go on to UK. You then just go onto here and complete the application form. There's also kind of two ways that you can apply for the PGC applications as well this year, as we're kind of trialling it out for the first time. So you can apply through the Department for Education, and that's our institute name, our code, all the details there about how to apply. So if you are applying for PGCE, then I do believe you need a personal statement, so it is slightly different. So this is on the Department of Education, and you just start it through them. So I think that's the only exception in terms of a personal statement is with the teaching side, and you do that through the Department of Education. But otherwise, it is just our direct application form, which is found here. And then you just go through each of the steps to complete it, pop in all your details, and then submit that through to our admissions team.
Thank you for that.
Oh, sorry.
What were you going to say, sorry?
I just saw Sarah's question asking about student finance. So yes, you can get student finance is available for postgraduate courses. The thing to note with postgraduate funding is slightly different, that you have your undergraduate fees and what you owe in terms of your student loan. Your postgraduate is then added on top of that, so you technically have two different loans. And then there's a different slightly kind of, it's same in terms of repayment, that you have to be earning over a certain threshold, and then you pay a certain percentage of that amount which is over the threshold. But that is added on top of what you're already paying for undergraduate, or what you will pay for undergraduate. So that's worth noting, that there is a slight difference in how you will actually repay your loans. But all the information for that is on the website as well. So under study, let me just show you on here. So yeah, so under study, you have fees and tuition right at the bottom there. And then you can scroll down, and that's undergraduate, again, separate for UK and EU and international, and then you can have a look on there. But international, you obviously won't be able to use the Student Finance England postgraduate loan, but for home and EU at the moment, you would be able to. EU is worth checking because obviously there's a change in the rules in terms of applying for, say, next September compared to now. So you need to look into that in a lot more detail. But for home students, yes, you can use student finance, and you can find out the information there. And then
If anyone does have any questions, you can email marketing on their direct email. I will put it in the chat for you. We're more than happy to help. Thank you for your time, Sam. The presentation with everyone so they can have access to the information.
Perfect, that's great.
Thanks. If we could now go to our next guest, which will be Laura from our Enterprise Hive team here at UCB. I will make you the presenter, Laura, and then you can share your screen or your presentation.
Okay, great. Thank you, Yasmin.
You are presenting now if you want to upload your presentation.
Thank you. Okay, so. Okay, so can everybody see that?
Yes, we can see it.
You can see, brilliant. So you can see the Enterprise Hive UCB.
Yeah.
Fab. Okay, lovely. Thank you very much. Okay, so hi all. Thanks for coming. My name's Laura, and I'm the Enterprise Assistant in Events for the Enterprise Hive. I just want to give you all a warm welcome. The Enterprise Hive is for any student or graduate who wants to help, who needs some help setting up their own business. I'm going to keep this presentation quite short, simply because this opportunity is not for everyone. Not everyone wants to own their own business, but for some people it's a real passion. So you can take comfort in knowing that UCB have a strong provision if you are the person who wants to set up your own business. You can access us at any time. So you can book an appointment with us now, or if you want to focus on your studies, then you can join us towards the end of your studies, or even after you've graduated. So we will support any student up to 5 years after they've graduated. So it's really comforting to know that, you know, if you do come up with an idea after university, the support is still there. So if you really like what I'm about to tell you, you can either take advantage of this opportunity now, or join us in the future after your studies, so that you can take comfort in that. So here I'm going to show you my presentation. So obviously this first slide, welcome to the Enterprise Hive, and this is our logo. Hopefully you've seen us around on campus and social media. We're linked up to Twitter, Instagram and LinkedIn. So if you are this person and you have a business idea at the back of your mind, or maybe you've not got an idea just quite yet, but you really like the idea of being your own boss, we are the department and team that you certainly should come and speak to. Traditionally, we would be on campus. We would come and sit down. You'd come and sit down and have a coffee with our advisors, and we'd explore whatever ideas you have at the time. But of course, because of COVID, like most businesses and departments, we've now moved virtual. So at this time, we are 100% virtual department. All our appointments take place online, so that it's safe for you and for the team. So what can we offer you? So first thing you guys will be entitled to, if you join the Enterprise Hive, is one-to-one consultations with either Nathan or Joe, who are our Enterprise Hive advisors. They have a wide schedule available, which I'll publish to you shortly. And in essence, we offer many one-to-one, 1 hour consultations as a place for you to come. It's a safe environment to take your business idea, or if you already own your own business, or if you just want to speak to someone who has knowledge of setting up their own business, It's a safe environment for you to come and explore and plan your journey and setting up your business. So that's the first, unlimited one-to-ones. We have some people who come to us just once a month, and we have some people that come to us every week. So it's unlimited, so you can book as many as you wish. So here's a quick video of how to book us. I'll just press play now. So what you do, you just go to the UCB website. And go onto the portal. You go to the menu button, and then into the Enterprise Hive under the University Services. It's got its own tab, and then you can just book a consultation here. So if it's your first time, you will have to just fill in a short brief, which takes about 10-20 seconds to complete the application form. All it will ask for is who you are and what your business idea is. And then from there, there's a huge list for the whole of the semester of the times and dates available for you to book us. So you can pick an appointment that works for you, and then we'll spend an hour with you. Our advisors, our enterprise advisors, either Joe or Nathan, will spend 1 hour with you. So, next slide. So here, one of the key factors, one of the key things that we offer is the buzz session. It's a business event. We're trying to get a bit of a wow factor with our events. So each month we will host an event on many different themes, all around entrepreneur and setting up your own business. So here are the types of people that we get in to the events. You can read their profiles, but just to give you a bit of flavour, one of our favourite guys is Mads. He's got a huge investment portfolio worth over $4 billion. He regularly comes in, and we have virtual appointments with him and with business ideas. So that's quite exciting to be able to be given the opportunity to speak to him. We also offer something else we offer is called the Hive Network. This is just an additional support for you other than the advisors. We have internal mentors and high-performing students within the Enterprise Hive, and they will help you on a personal level with your business idea. We also have several external mentors, most whom own their own business and are leaders from the Birmingham area. But due to COVID, we are getting a lot of mentors from much further afield, which is actually great. So they are all happy to do virtual appointments. But the guys who tend to be the business leaders from Birmingham are the ones that will give you the real support. So it's great to get that local business support. So that's the Enterprise Hive in a nutshell. Only UCB students and alumni are available to use the service, so it's completely exclusive to you as a UCB student. So the second part of the project is called Be Seen. Be Seen is in essence is a collaboration between the Birmingham universities. Between the Birmingham universities, and what we've done is set up our own incubation centres, and each university supports students from that perspective. So what we really want to do with the Be Seen project is recognise the different strengths that the universities have and Birmingham, and help each other so we can help our students. It's a really successful programme. 9 to 10 months ago, we reached our 10,000 business launch mark, which is a huge success. So Be Seen has been launched probably within the region of 10,100 businesses now. So yeah, really successful. So hugely successful project within the region. There is a bit of a criteria, but most of you will match this. So of course, at first you need to be a student within the UK or the EU, graduate at a university within the UK, and you must reside in Birmingham or Solihull area. So these are the different partners below. Aston University, Birmingham City University, Newman University, and ourselves. We all work very closely together to support and get your business off the ground and get it to launch. So this is one of our main benefits of Be Seen, is the 5-day intensive boot camp. We will get the top trainers from several areas. So there'll be business planners, market researchers, sales gurus, accountants, lawyers. We will get all of these wonderful people into a room. We'll get yourself, and also there'll be about 70 to 80 entrepreneurs who are also on the Be Seen programme. Get you all together, and we'll give you a top class support. The trainers on this boot camp, they're absolutely phenomenal. The advisors even go to it themselves because they learn so much. So it's an outstanding boot camp. Of course, because of COVID, we've had to slightly adapt and go virtual. But our plans are to go back to an intensive boot camp physically. So hopefully in a couple of months' time, that will be the case. But for the moment, it is a virtual boot camp. But we have had some fantastic feedback from this, actually, because people are saying that it really works well, because they don't need to commute into the city, so it's really great. So another small benefit from coming onto the programme is that you will get a £500 business startup grant. This can be spent on anything to help you get your business set up. So people in the past, it might be a laptop, or it might be buying stock for your business, or it might be a course that you need to enroll on. Whatever it is that you need, we can help you with that by giving you the small business grant. So the most powerful benefit we feel that you get from this programme is an allocated industry mentor. There's a slight difference between the Be Seen mentor and the Enterprise Hive mentor. This mentor will only be looking after you. So your mentor is completely exclusive to you. So for one whole year, this really special person will be giving you one-to-one personal support, which, speaking to one of our best mentors, we actually asked them how much it is if we were to pay for their advice privately, and he said £800 an hour. So that is the level of people that you will learn from, and as a mentor, and have as a mentor. So really high level people. So it's worth its weight in gold, that is. So here are some success stories. Oh, I apologise, I'll just skip one. So another fantastic benefit that you'll get is free office space for one whole year. So if you've just set up your own business and you've been on the boot camp, then you can come to us and get free office space for a year, which city centre offices are expensive. So again, this is a really nice benefit from that you'll get from the programme. Okay, so here are some success stories, which I'm not going to play them all today, but I will share the link so you can check them out yourself. And you can check them out in your own time and hear about what our students have to say about the Enterprise Hive and the Be Seen project and how it's helped them with their business. I'll just flick through these ones now. So here we have, here's a few businesses we've supported. You may recognise some of them here. So for the Enterprise Hive, we are approaching 580 student businesses on our books. So a huge entrepreneurial passion within the UCB. On the BC project, the people who are like the high flyers and are doing exceptionally well, this is also an option for you to progress onto the BC project. And here are our contact details. So we're really responsive, so it's best to contact us by email. And we're also on social media, so please do follow us on all our platforms. If you are interested in entrepreneurship, then I would strongly recommend that to follow the socials, simply because throughout the week we're posting many different opportunities. For instance, we've just posted about a business competition. So if you were to upload a 60-second video of yourself on YouTube about your business idea, the prize fund is £10,000. So these types of opportunities come up regularly, and it's through the social medias that you'll learn about them. So yeah, definitely recommend it. And so that's it from me today, guys. I warmly welcome any questions that you have. I'll pop a link into the chat so it can take you directly to the Enterprise Hive page. If you wish to book us, then please do go ahead. We normally book up 1 week in advance. So the sooner you book with us, the sooner we can talk about your business idea and get it off the ground.
Thank you, Laura. Great presentation, very informative. Thank you for all the details. All the students, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask Laura. She's available to answer any questions you may have. Just so you guys know, Enterprise Hive are based in Moss House, ground floor. If you come into Hyatt, they're based on the left-hand side. They've got a small little office in there. It's always best to drop an email to Nathan or Joe in regards to if you wanted to book an appointment, as Laura mentioned. But yeah, Laura's she just put in the presentation into the public chat, so you can view the profile videos that she was mentioning and the case studies in your own time. But any questions, please go ahead and ask in the public chat. Laura, I also have a quick question, if the students don't, is in regards to the Enterprise Hive. So you mentioned obviously the BC project. How does that work in terms of application form? If you didn't mention it, but
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So if with the application form, it is when you go onto the portal, you'll find the link, and the application form, it's 10-20 seconds, and all you just need to do is just pop your name in and what your business idea is. So it's really, really simple. And that's all that's required, and you don't need to bring anything either, just your idea to the appointment, and then we can just go from there. Obviously, once it's your second time to the appointment, the advisors would have given you some tasks and some goals to work towards, so they'd give you something a bit more to bring to the appointments. But the first one, nothing, it's very casual, and yeah.
Okay, great. I believe there's another question, so thank you very much for your time, Laura. Very well done, and I'm sure students will get in touch.
Great, thanks for having me.
Thank you, no worries. Cheers. So yeah, thank you very much, guys. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for joining in. Just gonna share our cameras. We just wanted to say a big thank you from both of us, myself and my colleague Yasmin, both of us that arranged the event for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Any feedback, pop it into the public chat, although you will be sent a form via email, so do have a look. Hope you enjoy the lineup of speakers that came along too. Just so you guys know, Hired, we're based in Moss House, ground floor. So we are here to support students careers-wise, opportunities, placements, work experience, anything else. So do, go onto the website. You're more than welcome to book in appointments or speak to any of our advisors in regards to, work experience or placements, depending on the course you're studying. I'm Sabbath, my colleague Yasmin. here who's also been supporting me on this event today. So thank you very much. We do have a final virtual fair taking place on Thursday. So do check on the portal. We have final few spaces left. I believe it's going to be a popular one. Don't we think? Yeah, so hopefully that should be good. So do join in. You can register on the portal, the Hide at UCB page. And hopefully we should see you on Thursday. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye.